Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 10 SWTF 3% Chapter 226 Previous Chapter Next Chapter Advertisement. Boom. On the thin fist, a terrifying wave suddenly erupted, and the violent energy flow turned into a huge fist, with the power of destroying the world, attacking Pain's powerful impact. At the moment when the two collided, a terrifying crack instantly exploded on the ground at the center, and this crack continued to expand over time. The rain in the sky rolled backwards, and the momentum was enormous. What shocked Jiraiya and the two immortals even more was that the huge fist was like a towering mountain, moving towards the heavenly Tao Pain unhurriedly. In the face of the shocking impact, nothing can stop its firm steps. Buzz. Pop. The sound like a needle piercing a balloon sounded, and Hanxing's fist directly broke through the repulsive force of Shen Luo Tianzheng and appeared in front of Tian Tao Pain. Whoosh. Seeing that the fist light was about to fall on Tian Tao Pain's face, the figure of Hungry Kido suddenly stood in front of Tian Tao Pain. He stretched out his hands in an attempt to absorb Hanxing's fist light. What shocked Kido was that he couldn't absorb the fist in front of him, and even his whole body was swallowed by this fist, turned into pieces of meat, and scattered on the ground. Yu Wei carried the rain all over the sky and blasted towards Pain. When Tian Tao Pain saw Hungry Kido being bombed to death, he moved his entire body laterally to avoid the attack of the fist. Boom! The fist light lost its target, and slammed forward, hitting the wall not far away, and the wall in the distance was directly blasted by a huge hole, sending out a huge roar. Advertisement. Tian Tao Pain looked at Hanxing with a dignified expression on his face, and then looked at Hungry Kido, who was turned into pieces not far away, and his voice murmured, "Is it the impact of pure body art?" Not far away, Jiraiya was one man and two beasts. His face was so shocked that he even felt like he was dreaming. For this reason, Jiraiya even slapped himself in the face, and after feeling the pain on his face, he regained his senses and murmured, "When did this kid become so powerful?" One punch smashed the powerful repulsion of Tian Tao Pain, and killed the Hungry Kido, who specialized in absorbing all kinds of energy, and forced Tian Tao Pain to leave his position. What surprised him the most was that the punch just now turned out to be a pure physical attack, which made him even more incredible. Pure physique knows how difficult it is to train him. Take Might Guy as an example. Even with 8 inner gates turned on, Hanxing is not as scary as a punch. For a time, Jiraiya's gaze towards Hanxing kept changing. Are young people now so terrifying? Immortal Fukasaku sighed at this moment, paused and said again, "I didn't expect that since Senju Hashirama passed away, there are still people in the ninja world who can achieve a complete sage mode. It's still a permanent sage mode. Boy, you are much better than little Jiraiya." What? Immortal Fukasaku? You said Hanxing is sage mode? Why can't I see it? Nothing has changed in him, Jiraiya exclaimed. Hearing the conversation between the two, Tian Tao Pain remained silent, as if he wanted to know Hanxing's information. You can feel it when you enter sage mode. The child's body is full of natural energy, and even the child is a collection of natural energy, and the surrounding natural energy drills into his body all the time. If I guess correctly, he should have awakened the same physique as first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Sage body. Only in this way can he absorb natural energy without hesitation. Fukasaku immortal, you guessed it right, he has the blood of the Senju family flowing in his body, and he has recently awakened to the same physique as the first Hokage. Therefore, Tsunade included him in the family. He is the only remaining male of the Senju family. Jiraiya interjected. Advertisement. That's right. That kid has developed the sage body far more than even his ancestors, first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Little Jiraiya. This time we are saved. Also, the confrontation between Sage Body and Cactus Eye is also very rare. Sage Body. Tian Tao Pain looked at Hanxing's eyes, and his face was rarely solemn. Presumably this one should be the immortal Shenzo. You have a good eye, and you can see it accurately. Hanxing withdrew his punching posture and turned his head to praise the immortal Fukasaku. I've passed the prize. The old man is about to live his whole life, and there are many people who have seen it. You are the most talented person I have ever seen. Jiraiya looked at the compliments of the two of them and felt like something was wrong. Aren't we running for our lives? What do you mean by this? Do you think the danger has been lifted? That. I have to remind you too. We are in other people's territory now. We are running for our lives. We are at a disadvantage, Jiraiya reminded. If you say you're stupid, you're really stupid, little Jiraiya. That child is so calm even knowing that the opposite is a fairy eye. His strength must be extraordinary, and even if we lose, he will take us away safely. All we need to do now is to feel at ease. Just look at it. Immortal Shenzo hated that iron could not become steel. It's better that Immortal Shenzo understands me, Jiraiya. Just watch from the side. Hanxing smiled and turned to look at Tiandao Pain. Squinting his eyes, the whole person suddenly disappeared in place. The other 4 six-pads puppets quickly glanced around, looking for Hanxing's whereabouts. Here it is. Hanxing's leisurely voice suddenly appeared behind Hell Dao. After hearing Hanxing's voice, the other 6 pads puppets quickly looked towards the voice. Advertisement. But before the puppet of the Hell World could react, a huge head rose out of thin air. Hanxing pointed his index finger to the head of the Hell. A black arc of thunder, like a streamer of light, rushed towards the Hell. Crackle. Crackle. The black thunder turned into a huge mouth of the abyss and directly swallowed the head of the Hell. In the blink of an eye, the head of Hell Road was swallowed up, leaving behind a black stick. Boom. Boom. In mid-air, black sticks fell to the ground, making a crisp sound. Tiandao Pain looked at Hanxing with a flat face, with waves in his eyes. This man named Chiba Hanxing is not ordinary strong, can kill the Hell under the eyes of their Rinnegan. No wonder he can kill Kakuzu and Hidan. Dispersed tactics are no longer effective, and only concentrated tactics can be used. To prevent them from being defeated one by one, Tiandao Pain thought to himself. Thinking about the year, 2 pains quietly appeared around him, guarding him. If Jiraiya was shocked before, it is now a storm in his heart. With a finger pointing in the direction of Hanxing's black lightning, there was a trace of panic and complexity in his eyes, and he was sluggish on the spot for a while. 44% Chapter 227 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. What's wrong with little Jiraiya? Seeing Jiraiya's expression, Immortal Fukasaku wondered aloud. That black thunderbolt. What happened to black lightning? Isn't it his unique bloodline limit? Immortal Fukasaku still didn't know why. It's him. It's him. Jiraiya murmured. Jiraiya will never forget this kind of black lightning that kills Jiraiya. Even, it can be said that this kind of black lightning is Jiraiya's nightmare, deeply imprinted in his heart. Seeing Jiraiya's reaction, Tiandao Pain suddenly became vigilant. As a former Jiraiya disciple, no matter what happened, Jiraiya always faced it calmly. It was the first time he saw this expression. Snapped. Immortal Jima slapped Jiraiya directly on the head, and said angrily, "Who is it? Long-winded. So troublesome. Who can scare you like this? Don't you think that black thunderbolt looks familiar to you?" Jiraiya suppressed the fluctuations in her heart and said solemnly. "What are you familiar with? Don't give a shit," Immortal Jima shouted in dissatisfaction. "That black thunderbolt is Senju Han's unique bloodline." "Are you sure, Jiraiya? You must know that Senju Han has disappeared for more than 10 years, and this boy looks only in his teens. The two are very different in age. Are you a fool? Do you think they are the same person?" Immortal Fukasaku jumped up and gave Jiraiya a slap. "Yeah. I thought too much. Maybe Hanxing inherited Senju Han's lightning-style bloodline." Jiraiya scratched her head, feeling that she had guessed wrong. Senju Han has disappeared from the ninja world for more than 10 years, so how could he appear here? Jiraiya threw away the messy thoughts in his mind, and stared straight ahead again, but instead of looking at Pain, he was staring at Hanxing carefully. Hanxing ignored Jiraiya's gaze. Anyway, this matter will be discovered sooner or later, and he doesn't have to hide it. The big deal is that if anyone wants to seek revenge from him, come here. He doesn't mind sending these people to see Shinigami for free. Senju Han, the god of the ninja world who defeated Uchiha Madara and disappeared for more than 10 years. Advertisement opposite Tiandao Pain put this matter down, and a voice in his heart told him that the person in front of him was Senju Han, the god of the ninja world. Therefore, the vigilance of the whole body is even more. Exactly. If Chiba Hanxing is really the god of the ninja world, then he will come to a slaughtering ceremony today to see if Senju Han, the god of ninja world, is more powerful, or his god's pain is even better. Among the 3 pairs of Rinnegan, there is a faint fighting spirit in silence. Oh, a consciousness reminder from Madara? Hanxing grinned, thinking to himself. Suddenly, Tiandao Pain's palm stretched forward, and a huge gravitational force emerged from his palm, like a huge mouth in the abyss, and the huge suction force directly rolled back the surrounding rain. Universal pull. The strong gravitational force directly fixed Hanxing's whole body, and his body involuntarily flew towards Pain, and at the same time, there were gravel on the ground in the past. Click. 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 Shura Road's arms are full of cannonballs, aim at Hanxing, and shoot directly. Cannonballs, with their own aiming, jumped towards Hanxing. The human way is simpler. A pair stretches forward like the heavenly way Pain. As long as it touches Hanxing's brain, he can pull out Hanxing's soul. This kind of suction is not good. Nagato, do you have this kind of strength? Hanxing, who flew upside down, suddenly said. Humph. You can dodge this attack again, Tiandao Pain said coldly. Cut. Hanxing pouted. The lightning flashed on his body, and the body that flew out suddenly stopped. Standing there out of thin air, the violent suction around him saw nothing. Advertisement facing the attack of the shell not far away, Hanxing waved his right hand forward and horizontally. 1,000 thunderbolts flew towards Pain and collided with the shells ahead. There was a violent roar. Boom. Boom. Hanxing's figure flashed, and the entire body turned into a black streamer and disappeared in place. Next moment, a thunderous flickering voice suddenly appeared behind Tiandao Pain's 3 people, accompanied by a faint disdain. Too weak. Too weak. It's a waste of talent to use Rinnegan on you, not as good as Uchiha Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan. Immediately afterwards, the whole person in the human world flew out like a bullet. And Hanxing's figure also disappeared, at the moment of its disappearance. Tiandao Pain's feet collapsed again, forming a big pothole, spreading wildly around. The violent impact rolled up the rain, sweeping the surroundings with an irresistible force. Even the Shura down next to him was no exception, and the entire puppet was blasted into the distance by this shock. An indifferent, cold, and incomparably arrogant voice sounded, Shen Luo Tianzheng. It's a pity that Tiandao Pain's delivery is still a bit slow. By the time he made this attack, Hanxing had already left the attack range of Shinra Tianzheng. After everything returned to calm, Hanxing appeared in front of Tiandao Pain holding the head of the human world. Advertisement. The lightning flashed in his hand, and the head of the world was immediately hit by the lightning in Hanxing's hand, and there was no slag left. All that remains is the black sticks that receive the signal. Hanxing reached out and caught one. Look carefully. This black stick is the product of Nagato through Rinnegan, using yin and yang escape, and it is completely different from the truth-seeking ball. Although both of them are the product of yin and yang escape, the black stick resides in Rinnegan's outlandish power, which has the ability to transmit chakra and restrain the tailed beast. But the truth-seeking ball is formed by the condensed yin-yang and 5-element high-density chakra, which has huge energy and can destroy a forest in an instant. Hanxing now has the energy of yin and yang and the 5 elements, but it is even worse to condense the truth-seeking ball. Unless he breaks through to the level of 6 paths, he still dare not try it. He is holding this iron rod now, just want to try his own lightning power cannot destroy this iron rod. It is the kind that destroys and disappears completely, not breaks. While thinking about it, the black thunder light in Hanxing's hand is inexhaustible, like thunder snakes, wandering and wandering around the black iron bar in front of him. I saw that the black stick with the thumb length was disappearing little by little with the black electric snake on the hand. This kind of disappearance seemed to have never appeared. In the blink of an eye, the black stick with the thumb length was struck by Hanxing's lightning. Only the size of a fingernail remained. Looks like what I thought was right. Hanxing's mouth curled into a smile, and the remaining black stick was still on the ground. This scene made the opposite pain. No, it was Nagato who caused an uproar in his heart. He is very clear about the origin of this black stick. It is a unique product of his Rinnegan. It's okay to break it, but it's the first time I've seen Hanxing disappear so silently. 44% Chapter 228 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. In other words, the opposite Chiba Hanxing has the same ability as his Rinnegan, or the same special ability. It should be brought by Sagebody, a figure whispered softly in the dark and uninhabited house. Are there 2 six-pads puppets left? Some trouble? What a terrifying black thunderbolt! Immortal Fukasaku stood on Jiraiya's shoulders and said softly. On the field, Hanxing raised his head, looked at Pain, who had only 2 left, and moved you. Do you think you can still kill me now? Tiandao Pain was silent, and after a moment he pondered, God, he will not be defeated. The world is so big that I dare not call myself a god. Just because you got Rinnegan of Sage of 6 Paths to call yourself a god? It's too small for the entire ninja world. Hanxing sneered. It seems that Nagato's second problem is terminally ill. Those who insult God will be punished, Pain said flatly. The whole body chakra surged violently, and the powerful chakra was like a substance. At the same time, a powerful coercion rose from Nagato, the god of heaven. Like a wave, it swept around and spread around. The rain in the sky was poured backwards by this sudden pressure. The ground on the ground began to vibrate violently, and the cracks of the cobweb gang quietly emerged, spreading in all directions. For a time, the area where Pain shrunk formed a vacuum. What? He folded his hands together, his face was hideous, his whole body was tense, and he shouted loudly. Advertisement aiming at Hanxing and Jiraiya and others who are watching the battle not far away. No. Little Jiraiya, let's go, Immortal Fukasaku hurriedly said. In fact, Immortal Fukasaku hasn't spoken yet. Jiraiya is already on the way to escape. With such power, fools know that Tiandao Pain is brewing a big move. Jiraiya ran for a while and found Hanxing standing there, as if frightened by the fluctuations caused by Tiandao Pain. Jiraiya hurriedly shouted, Hanxing, let's go. Little Jiraiya. It's okay. The owner of Sagebody, his strength is not something you can worry about. Let's take care of ourselves first. Immortal Fukasaku shook his head calmly. Yo. This is so angry. It's too irritable. The corners of Hanxing's mouth twitched, but his voice was extremely cold. But do you know that my woman is also among the tailed beasts you want to collect? Do you think I should be angry? As Hanxing said, a huge momentum rose into the sky, directly shattering the dark clouds in the air, revealing the turbid sky inside. If Pen's previous explosion made the surrounding become depressed and the wind was moving, then Hanxing's explosion was like a stormy sea. This momentum directly caused the rain to roll back in the sky, and a huge gap appeared in the earth. The surrounding air has dropped sharply, as if the rainwater in the sky will be condensed into ice, and the earth will be frozen for thousands of miles. The momentum of the two is not at the same level in terms of scope and power. Peace or war? As long as I dare to touch my woman, I will make anyone pay a terrible price. Hanxing's tone is cold. His voice is like the cold wind in the 9 secluded places in hell. It penetrates deep into the bone marrow, making people terrified and shudder. Your woman? Very good. I didn't expect that one of the 9 big-tailed beasts, Jinchuriki, was your woman. Then I will definitely grab her and take away the tailed beast on her body. Tiandao Pain was not to be outdone. You're courting death. Hanxing grinned grimly, and black thunder filled his body, like a ghost emitting black fireworks in the dust. Tiandao Pain's face was dull at this time, his folded hands suddenly flattened forward, his eyes were indifferent like he was looking at an ant. Advertisement, Super. Shinra Tianzhong. The monstrous debris flow first collided with Hanxing Ninjutsu 5 Rashomon. As Tiandao Pain's words fell, an overwhelming terrifying shock suddenly erupted from his hands. Amidst the surging waves, the sky covered the sun, as if a ferocious mouth was swallowing directly towards Hanxing not far away. What? It turned out to be first Hokage's wood style. Jiraiya, who was running, cried out in horror when she saw the movement behind her. His mind moved. at the moment when these 5 giant Rashomon appeared. Boom! Saplings sprang out from the ground and grew rapidly, forming towering giant trees in a moment. In an instant, the huge debris flow directly knocked the 2 layers of Rashomon in front of them to the 3rd layer. It can be seen from his trembling body, Shenzo Shenren himself is not very calm. Bang! Bang! This is the 5-fold Rashomon summoned by Hanxing. The 5-fold Rashomon is a kind of ninjutsu dedicated to defense, and it ranks among the top 5 in all defensive ninjutsu in the ninja world. Immediately on the ground, 5 huge buildings similar to iron gates appeared on the ground. He still doesn't believe that super god Luo Tianzheng can't resist Nagato. 5 Rashomon together, even tailed beast bomb can resist. The surrounding ground quickly collapsed like a piece of paper, and the rainwater turned into a curtain of water, which mixed with the soil on the ground to form a terrifying and muddy mudslide. Advertisement: Wood style, the tree world is coming. Hanxing's expression didn't change. He sneered in his heart. The 5 Rashomon were more defensive than the other. Sure enough, as expected by Hanxing, the monstrous debris flow, after smashing the 4th layer Rashomon in a row, was somewhat weak, and finally knocked down the 5th layer Rashomon. Only a whistling wind arrived in front of Hanxing. Others nothing at all. Summoning technique 5 Rashomon. Click. Click. The surrounding huge trees rolled violently like vines, and one by one appeared in front of Hanxing in an orderly manner to form a thick tree shield. It really doesn't work. With the last wood style as the backing, this wave of collision Hanxing is sure to win. The chakra on the body is surging suddenly, like a huge chakra tide. Calm down. Little Jiraiya. Since that kid has awakened sage body, what's incredible about wood style? You're too old, how come you still look like you've never seen the world? You should be lucky. You are the first person other than Uchiha Madara to see my other kind of ninjutsu. Hanxing's voice fell. At the same time, he shouted, biting off the index finger with one hand, quickly forming a seal with both hands, and hitting the ground below with force. Facing the huge waves, Hanxing murmured, on the shoulders Fukasaku immortal old gods teach at ease Jiraiya. Standing behind wood style, Hanxing sneered, is this your ultimate trick? That way, you can hit the road safely. The ground where Hanxing was standing began to vibrate violently, as if something was about to break out of the ground. In an instant, a small forest was formed around Hanxing. 44% Chapter 229 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. With a thought, the wooden wall in front of him instantly turned into huge vines, spreading wildly towards Tiandao Pain like a tentacle monster. Boom boom boom. The thick trees, with a strong impact, like the pillars of the sky falling from the sky, crashed down towards the Tiandao Pain below, making bursts of violent noises. Originally, after being used by Tiandao Pain to use Chaoshan Luo Tianzheng, the collapsed ground, at this time, once again appeared a series of small potholes, densely packed like a small beehive. After Tiandao Pain used the super god Luo Tianzheng, it took some time after using the various abilities of Tiandao. During this period, he could only dodge back and forth with his physical strength. Trouble. Looking at the dense vines in front of him, Tiandao Pain thought to himself. At this moment, over Tiandao Pain, a shadow quietly emerged. A huge vine covered the sky and blocked the sun, like the whip marks of the sky falling from the sky, and it crashed down towards the heavenly Dao Pain below. There was an attack of the whip marks of the sky above, and an attack of dense vines below, but Tiandao Pain's face was not at all flustered. Seeing that the shadows in the sky are getting bigger and bigger, it's about time to focus on the heavenly path of pain. Boom! In the distance, a powerful white laser directly bombarded the vines of the sky, and a huge crack appeared on the huge vines. Advertisement, however, this crack was restored to its original state in just a moment, but because of this, the falling vines moved slightly. At this moment of pause, Tiandao Pain avoided the attack range of the vines of the sky. Hanxing frowned and looked at Shira in the distance, it's really courting death. When the words fell, the voice suddenly disappeared in place. Below, Tiandao Pain dodged the mid-air vine attack and began to run towards the Shira road. At this time, he could only rely on the Shira road to protect him, and wait for the various moves of his Tiandao to cool down. The huge vines on the ground follow them like shadows, and they do not give Tiandao Pain a chance to breathe, and press Tiandao Pain to fight. And from time to time, he was whipped by the surrounding vines, and the coat of dawn on his body was also shattered, and one arm was exposed unknowingly. The whole body is even more blue and purple, and the huge welts are even more shocking. Fortunately, Pen Six Paths is just a puppet. If it is a real person, it is estimated enough. Not far away, Shira Road bowed his head and lay on the ground, the top of his head cracked open, like a laser-emitting cannon, with white lights converging inside, and the strong energy made people feel frightened. Call out. Hanxing's figure quietly appeared on the top of the Asura Road. With the sound of howling wind, the young fist slammed into the top of the Asura Road with a flash of lightning. Boom! Crack! The violent energy erupted instantly, the ground collapsed suddenly, forming a small pothole, and the black thunder spread to the entire body of Shira Dao like Lion Majesty. Shira Dao's entire brain was directly smashed by the force of Hanxing's fist, leaving only the black sticks that transmitted the information. Advertisement not far away, Tiandao Pain, who was dodging the attack of the surrounding vines, changed his face and murmured softly, "Is Shira Road also defeated? It seems that I am going to lose." Whoa! Whoa! At this moment, the seeds sprouted and turned into huge vines, and then they were pulled up and rushed into the air. Gathered together to form a huge vine cage, trapping Tiandao Pain firmly inside. "Are you trapped?" Tiandao Pain murmured. "Unfortunately, if you give me some time, Tiandao's various abilities can be used." Whoosh whoosh! On the ground, small vines suddenly burst out from the mantle and turned into ropes, trapping Tiandao Pain firmly. Tiandao Pain's body swayed back and forth, his tense body trying to break free from the ties of the vines. Don't struggle. The vines made by wood style are as firm and hard as iron locks. There was a gap in the vine cage. Hanxing walked out of it and said plainly, "This time, you won. You won't have such good luck next time." Seeing Hanxing's arrival, Tiandao Pain stopped struggling and said calmly, "Oh, next time? Do you think there is another time? After I kill your last puppet, I will go to your deity, and from now on, you can be with Shinigami forever." Hanxing, the voice is cold. "There will be a period in the future." Tiandao Pain said a strange word with a calm expression. Hanxing frowned, electromagnetic induction, and instantly ran towards the distant tower. He found that there were 3 figures in the tower, and he was very familiar with these 3 figures. One was Nagato, the other was Conan, who had just been in midair, and the other, it was Uchiha Obito. At this moment, Hanxing sensed that the space around Obito swayed with ripples, and then, 3 figures disappeared within the range of his perception. Advertisement. Damn it. Hanxing cursed. Uchiha Obito's space and the outside are completely 2 worlds. After Obito brought Nagato and Conan into Kamui space, Tiandao Pain in front of him seemed to lose his breath of life in an instant. Motionless, like a statue, or restored to its original state. Humph! Hanxing snorted coldly, looked at Nagato in front of him, and moved his index finger to remove all the black sticks from Nagato's body. "Next time, we won't let you escape so easily, Uchiha Obito." After saying that, with a move in my heart, I removed the surrounding wood style, carried Nagato's body and ran towards Jiraiya and the others. Now that Nagato has been taken away by Obito, and Yahiko has turned into a dead person again, there is no need for him to care about a dead person. No matter what, Yahiko is always Jiraiya's apprentice, and with the feelings of Jiraiya and Yahiko, he will definitely be buried in a good place. Of course, with this guy who specializes in throwing graves, it's not very safe to bury it anywhere. Not far away, the 2 beasts of Jiraiya looked at the huge vine cage in front of them, and there was no nervousness in their hearts. Are we going to decide the winner? Compared with Jiraiya's nervousness, Immortal Fukasaku is extremely calm. "Don't worry, little Jiraiya, little Hanxing, he will win. Haven't you seen that Tiandao Pain has no other abilities of Tiandao since he used that huge repulsion force? If the old man is not wrong, this should be the side effect of his big move. How can an ordinary ninja who can't use ninjutsu be the opponent of Xiao Hanxing?" Immortal Shenzuo's eyes are vicious and his tone is firm, and at a glance, he can see the predicament that Tiandao Pain is facing at this time. 44% Chapter 230 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Not long after, the vine cage that covered the sky began to dissipate, and a figure appeared in Jiraiya's eyes, rushing towards here at a very fast speed. It's really more popular than people. I didn't expect you to be so small but have such powerful abilities. Tsunade has really taken on a good apprentice. Looking at Hanxing in front of him, Jiraiya had a hint of envy in his eyes. Hanxing shook his head and handed Yahiko's body to Jiraiya. This should be your apprentice. Here it is. I pulled out the black rod from his body, and now it's just an ordinary corpse. Am I? Yahiko. Jiraiya took over Yahiko's body in a complicated way, with a serious expression. It's work. No. Hanxing waved his hand. Are you going back to Konoha or what? Go back to Konoha. I'm going to Konoha for some time to recover from my injury, Jiraiya pondered. By the way, little Hanxing, didn't you say that there is the existence of Pain's body on the tower? Why don't you go to him? Immortal Fukasaku said on his shoulders. Oh, don't mention it. They were rescued by a guy with a spiral mask who can use space ninjutsu. Hanxing was a little depressed. Space ninjutsu? Spiral mask? Could it be him? Jiraiya's expression changed. You know. Hanxing pretended not to know. When Nine Tails disrupted and Minato was forced to die, it was this guy who did it. Jiraiya's face was ugly. Forget it. Now, none of us knows space ninjutsu, and we can't catch him. If he really has any purpose, he will definitely jump out in the future. You're right. A conspirator like this, if he wants to realize his conspiracy, he will definitely jump out at some point, Jiraiya agreed. Do I take you back, or do you go back by yourself? Hanxing asked again. What do you think, looking at my injury, if I go back by myself, can I reach Konoha safely? Jiraiya said angrily. That's fine. Hanxing turned his head. Where are the two immortals, Shima Fukasaku? Advertisement. Little Jiraiya is fine now. I'm going back to Miaomu Mountain. Immortal Fukasaku said with a smile. Good. There are two immortals working today. Come and say respectfully. Goodbye little Jiraiya, little Hanxing. The two immortals said and disappeared into smoke. After seeing the two immortals leave, Hanxing directly picked up Yahiko's body in Jiraiya's arms and disappeared instantly. At the moment when Hanxing left, a man with black and white skin on the ground, shaped like a caged man, protruded from the ground. This person is Black White Zetsu, now the intelligence officer of Akatsuki's organization. Are you gone? Black Zetsu said in a low voice. That black thunderbolt. Can't be wrong. It's Senju Han who fought against Madara-sama. I didn't expect him to appear in the ninja world again. White Zetsu answered. Are you sure it's Senju Han? Can't be wrong. I was on Madara-sama back then? That's a bit of a hassle. With him around, Madara-sama's plans may fluctuate a little bit. Regardless, let Obito know who this person is first. After Kuro White Zetsu finished speaking, his body slowly drilled into the ground. Half an hour later, Hanxing appeared in Konoha village with Jiraiya and put Jiraiya down. Are you going straight to Tsunade, or deal with Yahiko first? In the Hokage office, Hanxing pushed open the door and found that Tsunade, Shikuji, and Kakashi, a kind of elite jonin, were all inside. Advertisement. The moment they saw the figure in front of them, everyone exclaimed, how could it be her? You don't have to. Originally I wanted Naruto to go, but now that I see you, I decided to let you protect Shion, the Shrine Maiden in the Land of Ghosts, the daughter of the Shrine Maiden Maitreya who sealed the ghosts in the first place. That's fine. You deal with Yahiko's affairs first. I happen to be looking for Tsunade for something, and I'll report your affairs to Tsunade by the way. Don't worry. In order to ensure the success of the mission and not hold you back, considering that the witch in the Land of Ghosts is a woman, I will add another man, Tsunade said solemnly. Am I going too? Hanxing asked. What happened? Hanxing asked suspiciously. The Sphinx sealed in the underground palace of the country of ghosts has been released. Sprites are monsters from the demon world, with the ability to be immortal and indestructible. Isn't this the plot of Hokage theatrical version, The Death of Naruto? What happened here? Hanxing swept the Kakashi crowd and asked aloud. For a time, everyone was very curious, wanting to see what kind of female ninja was so powerful, comparable to Hanxing. Don't look at Tsunade giving Jiraiya a heavy punch when he has something to do, but in Sannin, if you really want to fight, Jiraiya is closer. Let's not talk about that. How is Jiraiya? Have you been rescued? Tsunade asked anxiously. Huh. That's good. Tsunade's anxious mood relaxed after hearing Hanxing's words. These people say that Hanxing's two girlfriends are okay, but Yuhi Hong and Anko, it's strange if they don't hold back. A footstep sounded outside the door. Before he controlled the undead army, he almost ruled the entire ninja world. Later, at a critical moment, he was sealed by the mage Maitreya. Tsunade said solemnly. As Sannin, although I don't like Jiraiya as a pervert, my comrade-in-arms relationship is not so deep. Advertisement. The Land of Ghosts? Miko, Hanxing murmured. Okay. Then please. That's right. The Shrine Maiden in the Land of Ghosts has been tasked with sealing sprites since ancient times. You can protect her. The task can be said to be very arduous. If something really happens to her, the entire ninja world may be over. It seems that he has robbed the prince's task again. That's right. Now, for the sake of the peace of the ninja world, we have reached an agreement with the other 4 countries to stop the undead army of the Sphinx. Sorry, they really can't think of anything other than Hanxing's own 2 girlfriends, Yuhi Infrared, and representative ninjas like Anko. Everyone turned their attention to the door, and they wanted to see who it was, or what a woman could be as powerful as Hanxing. Click. In anticipation of everyone, the door in front of me was pushed open. Understood. When do I leave? Hanxing asked. Saying that, he shouted to the door, come in, Spider. Hanxing frowned. It's okay. He has been successfully released, and now he is in Konoha. It is estimated that he will be in Konoha Hospital in a short time. How strong is Hanxing, and Jonins like them are very clear. To put it in a bad way, the current cooperation between Kakashi and Hanxing is dragging Hanxing's hind legs. As for Konoha's female ninja? I'll go find a hidden place to bury Yahiko first. It's also my fault as a teacher. If I brought the 3 of them back to Konoha, Nagato and Konan wouldn't be like that. Maybe Yahiko won't die. Jiraiya was a little sad. After the 2 finished speaking, they parted ways. 44% Chapter 231 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. With red shawl long hair, wearing a Jonin vest unique to ninjas, and a smile on the corner of his mouth, Sister Tsunade. Is it me? At the moment when this figure came in, everyone including Kakashi whispered, Kushina-sama. Vortex Kushina, said to be the wife of Senju Han, is extremely powerful and can control 9 Tails chakra into 9 Tails mode as early as 10 years ago. Later, Senju Han used a special technique to divide the 9 Tails into 2 parts, and one part was sealed behind the Whirlpool Reiko, which is now Naruto's body. One part is still in his own body. Now that more than 10 years have passed, the strength is terrifying. You can see the diamond-shaped logo on his forehead. His strength is definitely not weak, and there are even rumors that Kushina has never stopped in the Senju family compound these years, and has learned 4th Hokage's Flying Thunder God technique in Rasengan. Even the Vortex clan is proficient in all the seals in the chest. Entering the 9 Tails mode, the strength is stronger than the current Master Tsunade, and can be comparable to the Master Mito. The moment he saw Kushina, Kakashi thought about the clues about Kushina in his mind, and looked at Tsunade with a hint of admiration. As expected of Lord Tsunade, even Lord Kushina can invite him out. You must know that in the past, 3rd Hokage went to Kushina for help, and Kushina didn't even care about the 3rd generation. Now, looking at the respectful appearance of Lord Tsunade, the attitudes of the 2 are not ordinary. What? Well, this is your partner. I don't need to say who he is. You 2 are strong. You must protect the safety of the witch Xian. Got it. X2 After Kushina finished speaking, she looked at Hanxing with big bright eyes, with a hint of slyness in her eyes. Hanxing was a little helpless. He just felt that Kushina's chakra was nearby, and thought something happened, but he didn't expect Tsunade to pay such attention. Okay. Hanxing. You and Kushina leave now. Let Jiraiya tell me about Akatsuki. Tsunade announced at this time. Advertisement. I know. Hanxing nodded. Tsunade swept towards the other ninjas in the house, and said loudly, Others, do as I say. You must block the undead army of the Sphinx, and let the Witch of the Land of Ghosts successfully seal the Sphinx. Understood. Everyone shouted in unison. Then, disband. In Konoha Street, Kushina looked at Hanxing, who was depressed, blinked his eyes, and said a little naughty, What? Are you surprised? One thing. I thought you were still in the Senju land. Cut. You're back. What is the old lady still carrying there? Kushina said angrily. Hearing Kushina say this, Hanxing was a little silent and said in a low voice, I'm sorry, Kushina, for making you feel wronged all these years. As long as you know it, Kushina said fiercely, grabbing Hanxing's collar, in the future, if you dare to abandon the old lady will definitely, Kushina said with Bibinen's fist. There was a trace of cold sweat on Hanxing's forehead, his face confirmed, no, definitely not. After a pause, he said, Let's go quickly. Looking at what Tsunade just said, the situation is not very optimistic. Yeah. Kushina's face became serious. The figures of the two flickered into two streams of light and instantly disappeared in place. Outside Konoha village, in a wood, Hanxing crouched down and said softly, I'll carry you, it's faster. On the top of the lava, huge vines suddenly fell from the sky, forming a thick shield to completely wrap the two of them, blocking the attack of the purple energy rain. Advertisement. In the next instant, the dense purple energy like a laser blasted towards the two figures. Wood style. The tree world is coming. This breath is like 9 tails filled with destruction, and darkness, making people wonder if they have come to hell on earth. The dense purple energy dragon head below, the body began to spread upward, until the top of the cave, the dragon mouth opened wide, and the purple energy gathered. In the mid-air not far from him, a teenager was holding a girl with pale yellow hair. His eyes were unusually bright and lavender. The boy stretched out his hand and waved, and a huge vine appeared on the hot lava to completely block the two of them. This purple monster looks so similar to the Hydra in ancient Greece. The only thing that doesn't look like it is that the number of its heads is not very large, and its shape is also like a long purple dragon. Kushina is also welcome. The whole person is lying directly behind Hanxing, like an octopus. Anyway, the two are old and married, and I haven't seen it anywhere. Boom. The temperature of these magmas is extremely high, even higher than the flames. Once contaminated, the skin will be burned and disfigured, and in severe cases will be killed on the spot. The purple monster is standing in the magma sea, looking at the magma as nothing. The boy is holding the girl, and the speed is indeed very flexible even though the person is in midair. After roaring at the bottom of the magma, the purple dragon head stretched out towards the teenagers and girls in the sky like tentacles. In the center of the cave, a monster made of purple energy stands there. The sound of a dozen shells exploding sounded here. Chakra surged on the boy's body and shouted loudly. The attacks of purple-black dragon heads were avoided by the teenager, and bombarded on the lava above the cave. Is the incomparably hard lava like paper paste, and holes were drilled out by the purple-black dragon heads. Advertisement dragging Kushina's buttocks, Hanxing galloped towards Kushina. Boom. At the bottom of the magma, purple energy gathers and compresses around the purple monster. With a wave of the boy's index finger, the huge Rasengan with amazing power in midair flew towards the purple monster not far away. Damn, it's Chiba Hanxing. You can only hide. In the lava, the purple monster was a little anxious and shouted, Super, destruction laser. At first glance, it looks like a mouse making a hole, and in the blink of an eye, it is densely packed, like a beehive. Chiba Hanxing, you are mine to immune to death. You alone? It's not even close. Boom. At the same time, a ferocious shout appeared in the ears of the two. The ground occupied by the purple monster was directly smashed into a piece of gravel by the spiral and fell into the magma below. In the dark cave, red magma rolled around, and a faint purple aura emerged from the air. Boom. Boom. The wind was surging, and the originally calm magma suddenly turned into waves of the sea, surging wildly, setting off waves of magma. Damn it, Chiba Hanxing. Give me death, the purple monster below roared fiercely again. Behind the teenager, a massive Rasengan emerges out of thin air behind him. 45% Chapter 232 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. In the next instant, a huge purple beam of light flew towards the area where the boy was located with the energy of destroying everything. All objects that hindered it during the period, after being rubbed by it, silently disappeared into nothingness. As soon as the boy's face changed, he was about to leave here with the girl. But before he could make a move, the countless purple faucets in the sky erupted again with purple energy rain, preventing him from moving forward. Damn it! The boy murmured. With a thought, the vines in the air grew larger and thicker again, blocking the attacks of the surrounding purple dragon heads. At this moment, a fatal danger came from below. The boy's face changed, and he flew in other directions with the girl. Boom! In the next instant, a purple beam of light penetrated the heavens and the earth, and silently swallowed up the large vines of the young man, as if it had never appeared. Boom! As soon as the boy went out, he was met with a rain of energy spit out from the mouth of the purple dragon head. It crashed towards the two of them. At this time, there is no way to hide. Although he is flexible in midair, how can he hide in the sky? Without any hesitation, the boy directly threw the girl in his arms towards the hole, and endured the purple energy laser rain alone. Advertisement boom. In the blink of an eye, the boy was covered with scars. Puff! A purple dragon head suddenly pierced through the boy's body like a tentacle, and hot blood spilled out in the air, splashing on his face. Head down, at the heart of the young man, a tentacle is swinging back and forth. Hanxing. In the distance, the safe and sound girl saw the scene in the sky, tears flowed out unconsciously, and shouted loudly. Come on! The boy shouted with all his strength, then closed his eyes and his body became slack. This? Okay? We're here to protect the witches of the land of ghosts? Kushina frowned, looking a little moved. If Hanxing guessed correctly, the direction of those terracotta warriors should be the land of swamps. After meeting the spirit and flesh, they will conquer the entire ninja world. Those tall terracotta warriors and horses appeared from nowhere, rushing in one direction unswervingly. As long as Huang Quan arrives in the country of swamp and releases the body of the sprite, at that time, the body of the sprite and the soul will become one, and the fighting level of the ninja world is comparable to that of the four battles. After Hanxing's fast-paced journey, an hour later, Hanxing brought Kushina to the site where the land of ghosts is located. He walked to the table, poured himself a glass of water, drank it all in one gulp, calmed down his heaving chest, and squeezed the teacup tightly with both hands, but the horror in his eyes did not fade away. What's going on here? How could I have such a strange dream? A crisp voice sounded in the luxurious and cold room. Advertisement in the luxurious and somewhat deserted room. The girl got off the bed. Whether it was under the blanket or her clothes were all wet with sweat or tears, her chest rose and fell violently, and she obviously hadn't recovered from the dream just now. Now, the underground palace of the country of ghosts has been captured by 4 subordinates led by Huang Quan. Huang Quan has used his body to become the residence of the ghost soul, and has even launched the undead army. The dark clouds in the sky dissipated, and the bright moonlight shone from the window. The girl had long pale yellow hair, light purple pupils, and a lonely figure. In my mind, I was thinking about the information about the country of ghosts. The country of ghosts is a very special country in the ninja world. The country's armed forces only have samurai, not a ninja. It is because the kingdom of ghosts seals the ghost soul, and only the witches of the kingdom of ghosts can seal the ghost, so the 5 major countries and some small countries will not do anything to it. I'm just a little weird. It's been a long time since Sage of 6 Paths created the sect. Can't they train some ninjas themselves? Why must there be fallen samurai? Haha. Also, I didn't expect to be jealous so soon, if not before. This kind of samurai, to put it poorly, is a little better than ordinary people. If there is a decent ninja, it will be a one-sided slaughter. In the final analysis, it is because of spooky reasons that the witches of the country of ghosts in all dynasties have 2 abilities. One is to see the future, and the other is to seal. Okay then.
You and I both use perception and wrap the palace of the witch of the kingdom of ghosts. If something really happens, at my speed, I will be able to support it soon. Hanxing. Desperate pain, heart-piercing pain wakes the girl from her deep sleep. Hanxing hugged Kushina and felt the fragrance of Kushina's body, and quickly ran towards the land of ghosts. The surrounding trees quickly retreated in Hanxing's eyes and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Advertisement. The more Hanxing thought about it, the expression on his face became a little dignified. All this can only be pinned on the witch of the land of ghosts. On a cliff, Hanxing looked at the palace below, frowned and said solemnly, "What a weak guardian. Now that all the sprites have been released, there are only a few samurai guards there." The last witch in the country of ghosts was the existence that sealed the sprites. He separated the soul and the body of sprites. The soul was sealed in the underground palace of the country of ghosts, and the body was sealed in the ancestral hall of the country of marsh. Why do you care so much about what people are doing here? Each country has its own country's policies. Instead of caring about them, it is better to think about how to explain our affairs to your two little girlfriends. Kushina pouted, a little unhappy. Hanxing. The mournful cry resounded throughout the cave again. Kushina still couldn't resist Hanxing's temptation. While speaking, the huge perception directly enveloped the palace of the witch in the kingdom of ghosts, and Hanxing directly enveloped the entire kingdom of ghosts. Then what can we do? In the country of ghosts, there are only samurai warriors. If there are ninjas, what are we doing here? Do you think everyone is like our country of fire? Kushina fluttered her hair and rolled her eyes. Nice way. Besides, it's just getting dark now, so even if you want to leave for the land of swamps, it's definitely not possible now. With the noble character of a witch in the land of ghosts, it must be tomorrow morning, Hanxing explained. Along the way, Hanxing saw a lot of ninjas fighting with the revived stone figurines, or terracotta warriors, and it wasn't that fierce. The country of ghosts, next to the country of thunder and the country of earth, is not a small distance from Konoha. Otherwise, these samurai alone can resist the attack of ninjas? But this country was not disturbed at all during the Ninja World War. The 5 major countries, including other small countries, seemed to have a tacit understanding, and no one would attack the country of ghosts. 45% Chapter 233 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. There are few people on the Chuming Mountain. I won't write it, just think about it. 4 hours later, Kushina stumbled a little and glared at Hanxing fiercely. His lips were red and swollen, his face flushed, as if he was drunk. Hanxing smiled awkwardly, and the medical ninjutsu quickly healed Kushina's tired body. Kushina has the physique of the Vortex clan, plus she has 9 tails Jinchuriki. This kind of small injury can be healed in a short time even without Hanxing treatment. After finishing packing, Hanxing carried Kushina on his back, and the two disappeared in place in a flash, and quietly appeared in the palace of the witch of the land of ghosts.
As for the large number of samurai who protected the witches in the land of ghosts not far away, they did not find the two intruders Hanxing and Kushina at all. It's coming in. Kushina couldn't believe it. Otherwise, what else can you do? Those defenses that look like iron walls to them are like the products of the elimination of this world in our opinion. The two are not on the same level at all. Hanxing shook his head and said softly. Indeed. The land of ghosts is a backward country. As you said, when they face ninjas, they are useless. A cold voice spoke in the darkness. You didn't sleep. Hanxing was a little puzzled. No. I've been waiting for your arrival, otherwise, I'm afraid I'll never wake up again if I fall asleep. The cold voice continued, but with a hint of pity. You know who we are. Kushina exclaimed in surprise. No. Vortex Kushina and Chiba Hanxing, you are the ones sent by Konoha to protect me and successfully seal the sprites, also. Speaking of which, there was a resentful voice that gritted his teeth. You guys came 2 or 4 hours ago. It's been. For nothing to make me wait for 4 hours. Advertisement. Wow. Kushina's whole body began to turn red and hot like a thermometer, and the body temperature rose sharply, as if it had reached a critical point. The dark palace became a little brighter because of Kushina. A young girl appeared in front of the two of them, her silver teeth clenched tightly, her face was slightly red, and she was looking at them with hatred. I'll go. Hanxing clutched his forehead.
This Xian's prediction is so amazing, even they can predict it, and his heart is like a dog in the sun. Your prophecy. You can also predict this. Hanxing had no choice but to bite the bullet. As for Kushina, she has now become a statue. No matter how daring she is exposed in public. Even though she is a woman, she still wants to find a hole in the ground to get in. I don't know, in the past, it was only predicted once a week, or even a few months, but in the past 2 days, it has been predicted several times in a row, and it's all about you, Zi Yuan said calmly. It's all about me? Hanxing frowned, right? Then what is the relationship between the two of us? You prophesied about me. No. Xian shook her head again. Just when Hanxing was about to ask, Xian interrupted, I'm going to sleep, because of you two, I've slept 4 hours less, and I don't know if I can leave on time tomorrow. Also, after a pause, Xian's lavender pupils looked at Hanxing, and said word by word, you two are not allowed to understand while you are protecting me? Understood. Understood. Hanxing nodded awkwardly. Advertisement. Kushina's face turned red again after hearing Xian's words. Okay. I'm going to sleep. Go wash it. The smell on your body is so strong. Xian's blushing face had a bit of disgust on her face, and after that, she returned to her bed to sleep. As for how Hanxing and the two wash up, it doesn't matter to her, it's very simple to find a place to bathe at their elusive speed. The golden crow rises to the east, casting thousands of silk threads on the earth, illuminating the entire ninja world. Hanxing and Kushina sat bored in Xian's palace, waiting for Xian to wake up. At this moment, the two maids held things, pushed open the door and walked in gently. After seeing the two Hanxings sitting at the table, they were about to scream in horror. Hanxing hurriedly covered the mouth of a woman with one hand, and said softly, we are ninjas sent by Konoha to protect Xian Miko and successfully seal the sprite. Now she is taking a good rest, don't you yell? Understand?
The two maids looked at the forehead protector on the heads of Hanxing and Kushina, and then looked at Xian who was still sleeping. After confirming that the priestess was okay, their nervousness relaxed and they nodded quickly.
After they put the cakes away, one of the daring maids said softly, what do you two want to eat? I'm afraid this is not enough for you. Well then. Hanxing thanked. No, we should thank you for coming all the way from the land of fire to protect our highness. After speaking, he bowed respectfully to the two of Hanxing and then left. Shortly after the two maids left, there was a slight noise from Xian on the bed. Afterwards, God came slack, opened his sleeping eyes, looked at Hanxing and Kushina next to him, gritted his teeth and said, you two. It's really hopeless. Advertisement, what happened to us? Hanxing wondered. Humph. I asked you to take a bath, what did you say you did? Zi Yuan's face became flushed again, and she said angrily. We didn't do anything. By the way, are you hungry? Eat something. Hanxing smiled awkwardly, but he was scolding inwardly, is it necessary to be so accurate? After last night, I can't help it, and it's not too long, it's all predictable, and then the dog is beeping. After eating something, Xian ignored Hanxing and fell asleep again, this time until noon. After waking up, the three discussed and decided to leave immediately and head to the land of swamps. Xian was carried by Kushina and was about to leave when a loud noise rang out. It turned out that Xian's guard Shiho planned to protect Xian's safety on the road with Xian, but Xian refused mercilessly. Hanxing knew that Xian had predicted Shiho's death at this time. However, these have nothing to do with Hanxing, he and Kushina just need to keep Xian safe. To put it in a bad way, Hanxing also doesn't want a guard standing in front of Shiho. They can just take care of a Xian, but they also need to protect you. I'm really not afraid of trouble, or if you can tie the ninja, you don't know what your strength is. After saying goodbye to some of the ministers of the country of ghosts, Kushina carried Xian on his back, and the three of them ran towards the shrine where the body of the monster was imprisoned in the country of numbness. As for the feet that were sneaking behind them, Hanxing directly ignored it. If he didn't want to live, he would continue to follow him. Anyway, Hanxing wouldn't be such an ignorant person. 45% Chapter 234 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. Both Hanxing and Kushina are extremely powerful, and their speed is not very fast. As soon as they left the country of ghosts, they threw their feet behind them and couldn't see a trace. The two did not follow the original book, starting from the hidden waterway, but from the country of ghosts and the country of thousands of marshes. This is the confidence of the two in their strength. It didn't take long for the two of Hanxing running in front of them to stop. Hanxing moved in one direction, and the corner of his mouth moved slightly. Oh, how many little ants are there? Yeah, 4. You go. Go early and come back early. I'll wait for you here, Kushina also said. The words of the two let Xian behind him know that the enemy was coming, and the tender body was nervous for a while. Take care of her, Hanxing instructed, and the figure disappeared in a flash. Don't worry. Hanxing's strength is still very strong. A few scumbags will be back soon. Feeling Xian's nervousness, Kushina comforted. No, he will die. He will die. I see it, Xian said in horror at this moment. Will die? What are you talking about? There is no existence in this world that can kill him? Kushina was stunned, with a trace of dissatisfaction on his face. What happened last night? I saw it. Without waiting for Kushina to respond, Xian continued, the Witch of the Land of Ghosts has been able to foresee and seal since ancient times. You mean, you foresee Hanxing's death? Yes. On a high mountain top, 4 figures in white clothes stood against the wind. These 4 are Huang Quan's subordinates, Yite, Setsuna, Kusuna and Shizuku. Advertisement. It's there, as long as he kills him, no one can stop Lord Huang Quan's great cause. Kusuna, the leader of the group of 4, said flatly. It looks like Konoha's ninja, one step ahead of us. It's really good. We were going to kill this witch in the land of ghosts, but now we can deliver it directly to the door, instantly sneered. Hands on. Remember to add chakra. Got it, boss, X3.
After a few people finished speaking, just as they were about to leave, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. Before they could react, the boss in front of them had a scarlet fist on his chest.
What? Kusuna looked at the fist on his chest with disbelief in his eyes. How possible? He turned his head to see who the one who killed him was, but his whole body was weak, and his consciousness gradually fell into darkness, and finally closed his eyes with a face full of unwillingness. Boss. X3. After the other 3 came back to their senses, they shouted. They did not expect that Kusuna, who was talking to them just now, died in front of their eyes in the next instant.
For a time, their eyes were angrily staring at the figure behind Kusuna. Their relationship with Kusuna was not very deep, and they died when they died. But the key point was that Master Kusuna learned the dark medical ninjutsu of Lord Huang Quan. It can instantly replenish chakra for them, allowing them to fight without hesitation. Now that Kusuna is dead, they have become the same as before, using chakra carefully. It was as if they were accustomed to the delicacies of mountains and seas and suddenly began to eat bran and pharyngeal vegetables. This kind of gap made it difficult for them to accept. Yo! Did Huang Quan send the 4 of you to kill Xian? It's too weak. Hanxing then swung Kusuna's body to a change, and said in a light tone. Suddenly, she felt a pain in her chest, her body became weak, she lowered her head with difficulty, and a scarlet palm appeared in her eyes. Then her consciousness gradually fell into darkness. What are you going to do back? There is a saying that there are blessings in hardships. It's better for you to be with the other 2 teammates. Hanxing's voice suddenly appeared behind Shizuku. The 2 of them used their combined ninjutsu against Hanxing at the same time. Advertisement. After running for a while, seeing that Hanxing was not chasing after him, Shizuku said angrily, damn it. What kind of guy did Konoha send here? Black thunder and lightning passed through Yite's heart, and there was not a trace of fresh blood flowing out of it. Instead, there was a burst of burnt and rich meat aroma. He glanced at Yite, who was lying on the ground, and looked at Hanxing with a hint of panic. From which chakra ball can you feel the terrifying energy in an instant? The chakra ball gradually enlarged in his eyes, and then he lost consciousness. The figure flashed on Hanxing's side, and the huge fist instantly turned into a hard rock arm, attacking Hanxing's body. When Shizuku's face changed greatly when he heard this voice. They didn't dare to think about it anymore, looked at each other, and planned to escape first,
but now that the two of them have no chakra supplement, facing the powerful enemy in front of them, they have no chance of winning. Looking for death? Yitei yelled. Puff. It looks like our plan is going to fail. We can't beat just one person on the opposite side, not to mention, there is another person to protect the witch, instantly said with a gloomy expression. A huge flame tornado rushed towards Hanxing. The two looked at each other, their figures flashed, and they left here quickly. Moment next to him ran forward without looking back after hearing Hanxing's voice, his face full of fear. The fight between Hanxing and Yitei seems to be a long time, but it is only completed in an instant. After solving Yitei, the ninjutsu attack of Shizuku and Setsuna came to Hanxing. Wind style. Kamikaze. Advertisement. Water style. Water cutting technique. Not to be outdone, the other two made their moves one after another. Looking at the three ninjutsu attacks, Hanxing's eyes flashed with disdain, too weak. As soon as the voice fell, a gust of wind and a blade of water flew towards Hanxing. Fire style. Breathing death lotus. How can this guy be so fast? As he ran, he exclaimed inwardly. First, he stretched out his hand, grasped Yitei's giant rock fist, squeezed it hard, and suddenly a crack appeared in the giant rock fist that wrapped Yitei, and it fell to the ground. Looking at the weak ninjutsu in front of him, Hanxing didn't dodge most of the time, just stretched out his fist and used brute force to blast away the ninjutsu attack in front of him. Rasengan. Then, let's go back, Shizuku suggested with an ugly face. In the sky, a faint voice came from the top of Moment's head. Momentarily raised his head, what caught his eye was a palm with a light blue chakra ball on it. In Yitei's eyes full of shock, Hanxing pointed his index finger, and the black lightning turned into a laser, rushing towards Yitei's heart. Boom! Yitei's body slowly fell on his body, his eyes still had a shocked expression, and he didn't return to his senses until he died. Who the hell did Konoha send to kill their old Yamato Yitei in just a moment? Could it be Konoha's cage-level powerhouse? How is that possible? The two exclaimed at the same time. Wind style. Kamikaze. 45% Chapter 235 Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Hanxing's Rasengan directly attacked Sean's head, and the penetrating force carried by Rasengan directly bombarded the moment to the ground, forming a small pothole. In an instant, his eyes widened, and he lay there. His body gradually became cold, as if he didn't quite understand how he died until he died. So far, the group of 4 sent by Huang Quan was wiped out by Hanxing in less than 3 minutes. That's right, it's 3 minutes. These battle scenes seem to be a lot, but the actual time is only 3 minutes. The electromagnetic induction was sent out instantly, sensing Kushina's position, and the figure disappeared in place. On the trees, Kushina was still struggling with Xian's words just now, and said carefully, "How successful is your prophecy?" 100%. 100%. That's not a hit, Kushina exclaimed. If so, Xian predicted Hanxing's death, which means that Hanxing is dead. Thinking of this, Kushina's heart was in a turmoil, and she only met Hanxing. Could it be that Hanxing was going to die so soon? Her blushing face suddenly turned pale. It seems that you have a good relationship with him. Yes. You are all like that. It's no wonder that the relationship is not good. If you don't escort me, then he should be able to avoid this catastrophe. There was a hint of blush on Ziyuan's cold face, as if thinking of something. Foreknowledge of this kind of thing. I won't believe it, even if there is. I will break him. My destiny master is in my hands. No one else can take it away. Hanxing's voice suddenly appeared beside Kushina's voice. He stretched out his hand, rubbed Kushina's red hair, and said softly, "Don't think so much. If Xian's prediction is accurate, I won't be able to hide even if I hide." Advertisement. Besides, a mere sprite can't kill me. When Hanxing said this, a domineering aura emanated from him, like an ancient general, who looked down on the world and was full of confidence. For a time, both Kushina and Xian were deeply attracted by the haki and remarks emanating from Hanxing. This is my man, Kushina thought proudly. Let's go. Those 4 guys were dealt with by me, and it is estimated that the next road will be safe. Hanxing's voice brought Kushina and Xian back to their senses. Kushina whispered softly. Okay. With that said, the two continued to run towards the land of swamps. Sure enough, as Hanxing said, after killing the group of 4 sent by Huang Quan, the journey was safe and sound. 3 days later, the 3 of Hanxing arrived in the land of the swampland safely. If only Hanxing and Kushina are expected to arrive in a day, and a Xian can be added to take into account the feelings of ordinary people in Xian, Hanxing and Kushina have to slow down. The 3 sat down in a forest, ate some food, replenished their supplies, and after giving Xian a good night's sleep, they ran towards the swamp country ancestral hall. The 3 stood at the door of the cave, and Kushina said solemnly, "It should be here. I felt a very evil and destructive chakra inside." One after another, the sound of breaking the air sounded from not far away, and the dragon head made of purple-black energy galloped towards them like a rain of arrows. Boom! 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 Terracotta warriors and horses in Kushina Nine Tails mode in their hard bodies are like paper paste, punch a child. Advertisement. A huge roar sounded at this moment, and the dense army of terracotta warriors was suddenly smashed by Kushina. Now, with the existence of Hanxing, Xian will naturally not be in danger. You must know that if Naruto comes a step late in the original book, Xian is probably GG. He is not as big as Naruto. Saying that, he turned his head to look at Kushina next to him, swept away the dense terracotta warriors and horses next to him. "I'll leave it to you here. I'll go in with Xian and seal the sprites." Whoosh whoosh. Xian. How can I successfully seal this monster? In the original book, he remembered that Xian handed Naruto the bell he brought and untied his seal. Yes. It's you, Xian, who was behind Hanxing, saw Wang Chen in front of him, and shouted in fear. That person is Huang Quan, and now he has the soul of the scorpion in his body. The survivors of the undead army before are also the source of all this. It looks like a huge octopus. The only difference between the two is that the octopus has tentacles, while the sprite has a purple-black energy faucet. Hanxing naturally knew who Xian was talking about, and said plainly, "Don't be afraid. Kushina and I will protect you. All you need is a successful seal." After the entire monster appeared, he directly threw the Wang Chen beside him into the distance like throwing garbage. At this time, Wang Chen was completely dead because of the violent breaking of his body. Be careful, Kushina said worriedly. A beast roar came out from Huang Quan's body, and the purple-black dragon heads protruded from Huang Quan's body, revealing its original appearance.
Behind him, the giant fists turned into tailed beasts are like Senju Guanyin with monstrous power, slamming into the terracotta warriors not far away. Advertisement. Kushina turned around and looked at the dense terracotta warriors behind him, with a serious expression. Nine Tails. It's time for a battle.
You're finally here, Miko. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Huang Quan sat on the special seat, his eyes glared, his voice hoarse, as if it was not a human voice. The ancestral hall of the Swamp Kingdom is in a cave. No one guards it, or someone guards it, but it was killed by Huang Quan. Hanxing made a seal with both hands, and separated a shadow clone to take Xian out of the attack range of these dragon heads. The big ball Rasengan all over the body, wrapped in the Nine Tails chakra, crashed into the distance. After finishing speaking, Kushina's whole body was enveloped in golden light and instantly turned into Nine Tails mode. This is the sprite. No, it should be said to be the sprite's soul. Boom. Boom. Compared with Kushina, Hanxing saw a black figure sitting on a similar altar not long after they entered the cave. At a glance, there are countless numbers of them, which is very spectacular. Now that you're here, this guy is useless. He was rescued by Naruto at a critical moment, and then the two merged into one, using the Rasengan with Xian's spiritual power, and successfully defeated the Sphinx. The earth cracked, and a huge terracotta warrior slowly unfolded its body and appeared in the field of vision of Hanxing and others. He's here. Shi Yuan looked at the terracotta warriors and horses around her with a terrified expression. Don't worry, Hanxing said, taking Xian from behind Kushina and walking towards the ancestral hall behind her back. 45% Chapter 236 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Facing the attack of the purple faucet in front of him, Hanxing did not dodge or evade, and his body was filled with lightning, as if he was wearing a lightning gauze. When his figure moved, he rose into the sky. The right hand was vacantly held, the dazzling thunderlight gathered again, and in the blink of an eye, a thunder-long sword surrounded by black fireworks appeared in his hand. Swipe horizontally at the dark purple faucet in front of you. A black crescent moon appears out of nowhere. The face of the purple dragon in front of him was cut into two halves from the neck like a piece of rice. For a while, purple raindrops seemed to fall in the sky, falling down. How is that possible? How could you possibly hurt me? On the altar not far away, the sprite roared fiercely, the purple beast's eyes glowing brightly, obviously a little unbelievable. Hanxing said nothing, just looked at him calmly with a sneer on the corner of his mouth. Now the body of the sprite is sealed, and now there is only the soul. The soul, in the final analysis, it is still spiritual energy, the product of yin. Hanxing now has a shadow in the thunder and lightning, although the development is not deep, but it is not a problem to deal with some souls. It can be said that the black lightning in Hanxing's hands is the nemesis of soul energy. Hanxing might be a little bit afraid if the spirit and the flesh were one, just a soul, how much power can be exerted, but it was Hanxing's share. I don't believe it, I don't believe it, Sprite yelled like crazy. Hum. During the roaring, a rich purple brilliance suddenly burst out from the sprite's body, dazzling and charming. On the opposite side of Hanxing, the dark purple monster that was originally headed by a sword and only had its torso now grows crazily. In the blink of an eye, the purple dragon headed by Hanxing grows out. Whoosh! The purple faucet quickly gathered around, and the purple energy on the body was released, and then fused together to form a huge dark purple faucet. Advertisement. A pair of dark purple dragon heads stared at Hanxing. The dragon mouth opened wide, and the purple energy gathered. Squirt at Hanxing. Wow! The purple energy turns into a tide of energy, and wherever it passes, everything around it is silently swallowed up by it. The surging waves swept Hanxing. Hanxing's black thunder giant sword was placed horizontally in front of him, and the whole body was filled with thunder and lightning. At a speed visible to the naked eye, the thunder giant sword in front of him still grew wildly, and in the blink of an eye it turned into a sky-high giant sword. The energy tide at the place is completely blocked. If you don't block it, you can't do it. If he is himself, he will definitely dodge, but there is Ziyuan behind him. If he flashes, all your huge energy tide will fall to Ziyuan. Thinking of this, Hanxing couldn't help but sigh, what a troublesome person. Boom! The purple tide in the sky collided with the giant sword in front of him. Hanxing injected chakra into the thunder greatsword and fought back. The tide of energy is like a flood pouring down, and the Tianhe River is reversed, and there is the power of destroying the sky and destroying the earth. But even so, the giant sword in front of it is like a thick shield. No matter how the tides hit, it can't shake it at all. How is it possible? How is it possible? Who the hell are you? Seeing this scene not far away, the sprite shouted unwillingly. When it finished roaring, a dazzling black brilliance suddenly erupted from the thunder greatsword. The dazzling and eye-catching is like a giant sword of world annihilation that sprang out from the abyss, as if to slay the common people and slaughter everything. Who? Crackling, crackling. Advertisement. A roar like a thunder dragon resounded from the depths of everyone's soul. A huge black thunder dragon poked its head out of the thunder giant sword, the dragon mouth opened, and the tide of energy that destroyed the heavens and the earth in front of it was directly swallowed by it. Boom! Brontosaurus's stomach began to swell at a speed visible to the naked eye, and returned to its original shape after a while. This black thunder dragon was formed by Hanxing by means of the thunder giant sword. Neither the spiritual energy nor the thunder and lightning energy of thunderfruit in his body can compare with the thunder giant sword in front of him. Really want to compare? The power of the black thunder dragon in front of him is at least 5 times that of the great sword. Originally, Hanxing's lightning was the nemesis of spiritual energy, but now Hanxing has released another big killer, looking at the purple dragon head not far away, with a hint of elm on the corner of his mouth. Roar! After swallowing the purple tide, the huge thunder dragon rushed directly towards the purple dragon head in front. Roar! The purple faucet is also not to be outdone. It is composed of all the small dragon heads, and its essence is the soul of sprites, or spiritual energy. The sprites come from the demon world, and the spiritual energy is full of tyranny, destruction, and destruction. It can be said to be synonymous with killing. With so many small dragon heads coming together, the tyrannical energy on its body can be imagined. The two giant dragons scuffled together in an instant. It was a scuffle. It would be better to say that Hanxing's thunder and lightning dragon pressed the self-colored dragon's head to fight. The purple dragon's head bombarded the thunder dragon's body and nothing at all. On the other hand, the thunder dragon's bombardment on the purple dragon's head made the body of the purple dragon's head dim every time. Advertisement: this is the effect of the yin escape on the thunder dragon.
After colliding for a moment, the body of the purple energy dragon head became more and more dim, and at the end, the thunder dragon gnawed directly at the body of the purple dragon head.
Every time a piece is eaten, it will be swallowed by the black thunder and lightning in the thunder dragon's body. After a while, the dragon's head, which originally gathered purple energy, is directly eaten up by the thunder dragon. Not far away, Xian looked at the ancient mythical battle scene above. Her lavender eyes were full of shock. What's going on? Does she remember that there is no such scene in the foreknowledge? Also, Hanxing can actually hurt the soul of the sprite. How is it possible? Ziyuan found that all the things in front of her seemed to have broken her own cognition. Isn't she the only one who can seal the sprite? How can Hanxing also? For a time, her small head was full of big question marks. Impossible. Impossible. Die. Die. Die for me. On the altar, the sprite roared wildly. On the body, the mouth of the blood basin with a pungent smell suddenly opened, like a gluttonous gourmet. The purple energy on it begins to rapidly converge and compress. After it reaches its peak, aim at the Hanxing in the sky and launch it. Boom! The whole figure of Wang Liang is like a launching cannon, and the whole body of this huge energy shock trembles. A huge purple energy column, with the power of destroying the sky and the earth, runs through the world, tearing space and time, and appears in front of Hanxing in the blink of an eye. Wherever he passed, everything around him was destroyed by this energy column to nothingness, and the space was faintly distorted around him, which seemed to be unbearable, enough to see how strong this energy was. At the same time, accompanied by the roar of sprites resounded throughout the cave. Super. Destroy the magic light. 45% Chapter 237. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Hanxing's face was solemn, and he could feel a strong sense of danger from the purple beam of light in front of him. Think about it. Thunder Dragon and Great Sword appeared beside him and became his two lines of defense. At the same time, the chakra on the body surged violently, and the black thunder light on the body burst into a dazzling light, like a dazzling black pearl. A black and purple spear slowly appeared in front of Hanxing. At the moment of its appearance, Hanxing's thoughts moved, and the thunder dragon, the giant sword and the long spear blasted towards the purple beam of light one after another. Boom, boom, boom. Two huge roars sounded in succession. A huge aftermath suddenly erupted around it. The originally hard lava wall in the sky was directly hit by this huge aftermath, and a big hole was blasted out, exposing the bright sky outside. Below, there was a tremor on the ground, like an earth dragon turning over, and the calm magma began to tumble violently, like the waves in the sea, surging. But Hanxing and sprites, one by one, the monster's eyes at this time are ignoring the surging magma, and instead look upwards. The clash between the purple light beam and the Hanxing spear. This destruction magic light is indeed the ultimate killer move of the sprites. After smashing Hanxing's two defenses, it can still stand in a stalemate with Hanxing's thunder spear. The purple beam of light shines brightly, like a giant totem column emerging from the demon world. The black long spear is flashing with lightning, and it has a sharp edge that pierces everything, like a spear of God killing that jumped out of the long river of time and appeared here from the ancient flood. Advertisement buzz. Buzz. Click. Click. After a stalemate for a while, I saw a trace of cracks appear on the purple light beam, and then it was pierced by the thunder spear to the end. As a result, the purple light beam turned into the most primitive element and dissipated into nothingness. Hanxing's thoughts moved, and while the spear was still in shock, the black spear pointed straight at the spear. Whoosh! During the time when the sprite was still shocked by the destruction of the magic light of destruction, the black spear burst into the air, and one shot directly fixed the sprite on the altar. Crackle! Crackle! Lightning flickered, black arcs spread from the spear, and the spears roared with a heart-piercing roar. Ah! It hurts! It hurts! How is it possible? What kind of lightning is this? Why can it hurt me? Why? At the same time, Hanxing came to the altar with Xian, casting the spell that her mother gave her to seal the sprites. At this moment, Hanxing interrupted Xian's spell seal with one hand, and said solemnly, "Do you want to kill it? Or do you want to seal it?" Shi Yuan was a little puzzled. Isn't the sprite always sealed? Then which one would you choose if it could kill you? Of course it's killing. From now on, we won't have to worry about the witches in the land of ghosts all day long. You can live in peace in the future. Got it, Hanxing said, taking the bell on Xian's ear into his hand. This bell is the seal set by Xian's mother Maitreya. As long as you carry it, Xian's spiritual power will not appear, but there are exceptions, that is, during the prophecy. Xian's bell will ring twice, and then you can see the future. Screen. What are you doing? This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, what are you making a fuss about? Zi Yuan looked at Hanxing's actions with a hint of anxiety on her face. After all, she still wants to be labeled like this. She doesn't go to the seal at this time, and she is still making trouble here. Can she not worry? Advertisement at this moment, Xian felt that a large amount of energy appeared out of thin air in her body. This energy is bright, warm, bathed there, like returning to the arms of the mother. In Xian's mind, there are many pictures of witches from past dynasties, including her mother Maitreya. Seeing Hanxing pushing the door open, Tsunade said with an ugly expression, "You guys are back? Good work." It can feel the strong smell of death from the inside. At the moment when the two flew out, the surrounding magma accumulated to the apex, and it exploded. There were bursts of lava rain, scattered on the ground. In the blink of an eye, massive Rasengan with a dazzling light appeared in Hanxing's hands. Hanxing's expression changed slightly. He picked up Zi Yuan, who was still in a daze. Ripples swayed under his feet, and the whole person rose to the sky from the hole just blasted out. Hanxing's expression didn't change. He held the massive Rasengan in his hand, and pressed the sprite in front of him fiercely. Yu Wei did not diminish, and bombarded the ground below. On the top of the mountain not far away, the three of Hanxing looked down with a dull expression. An hour later, Hanxing and Kushina appeared at the door of the Konoha gate. A huge Rasengan was successfully condensed from the palms of the two of them. With the appearance of this Rasengan, the huge energy in Xian seemed to be pouring out, madly gathering towards the Rasengan. Totally cool. The magma sea, which was not very calm before, boiled again at this time. A large amount of magma with scorching high temperature flowed out from the crater at the top and spread downward. Sister Tsunade. What happened again? You look so ugly, Kushina asked aloud. Well, seems to be late. Kakashi's voice appeared behind Hanxing, Shikamaru and Mitengai behind him. The figure disappeared in a flash and ran towards the Hokage building. Advertisement. Hanxing grabbed her hand at this moment, and as she changed, she probably lost all her clothes. Yeah, so beautiful, Kushina murmured. The two palms face each other. Seeing that Kakashi, Might Guy and other high-level officials of Konoha are staying here. It's not too late. You can also enjoy the spectacular sight of the volcanic eruption. Hanxing pointed to the distance and said with a smile. The sprite in front of him was directly smashed by Hanxing's Rasengan. As this energy increased, Zi Yuan's body was gradually enveloped by this energy, and the whole person burst into a dazzling light, like an angel descending, dazzling. Boom. At the same time, I also understand what this energy in my body is. The ground below collapsed suddenly. Seeing the Rasengan created by Hanxing and Xian panicked and roared loudly. Hanxing's face changed. Nothing major happened again. Boom. There was no obstacle along the way. He pushed open the door of Hokage's office and walked in. At the same time, the ninjas of various countries who were fighting the undead army found that the terracotta warriors and horses in front of them suddenly turned into a pile of fragments and scattered on the ground. Xian smiled happily. Is this the scene of a volcanic eruption, so beautiful? Next, Hanxing sent Xian back to the country of ghosts. After 2 days there, he and Kushina strolled there and brought some souvenirs. The two said goodbye to Xian and returned to Konoha. Impossible. Impossible. Don't. Chapter 238. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The 5th Mizukage Terumi Mei of the Land of Water handed over the diplomacy, saying that he will come to Konoha in a few days. What a friendly interview. Tsunade clenched his silver teeth and looked ugly when he said this. Terumi Mei? Is that the babysitter? Kushina's face became gloomy after hearing this. Kakashi, Shikaku, Dingza and other old jonin looked up at the roof of the Hokage building. There seemed to be something beautiful there. Some other young ninjas of lower seniority, or who did not participate in the Third War, whispered. What's going on here? Mizukage of Kirin village seems to have a grudge against Hokage-sama and Kushina-senpai. Be careful. You will know these things later. I will tell you after you go out. Don't say it now. Some older ninjas whispered. Looking at the mess below, Tsunade yelled, Shut up, what's it like? Luisa. Terumi Mei is here, and you are responsible for this matter. Be sure to take good care of her, Tsunade said with a livid face. Don't worry, Lord Tsunade. I will. Lu Ju's mouth twitched and he smiled bitterly. Kakashi and the others looked at Lu Ju sympathetically. Child, I have wronged you. Okay. Now this matter is over. Everyone disbands, and Hanxing and Kushina stay behind to report the details of this mission. Tsunade pondered. Wait a minute. I still have something to say here. Hanxing's words caused the people around him to stop and look at him. I have set 3 tails as a summoning beast. According to my agreement with it, he needs to be given a safe sea area. In the future, it will live a peaceful life with Konoha. Hanxing organized the language. Advertisement. As soon as Hanxing's voice fell, the eyes of the people around Hanxing suddenly became extremely horrified. Even though they already knew how powerful Hanxing was, it was beyond their imagination to hear that Hanxing took 3 tails as a summoning beast. You know, Uchiha Madara, who has succeeded in collecting tailed beasts as summoning beasts since ancient times, is alongside first Hokage. And now, Hanxing has successfully turned 3 tails into a summoning beast. Does this mean that Hanxing's strength has reached a strength comparable to that of Uchiha Madara? Although 3 tails and 9 tails are not on the same level, they are also tailed beasts. Sizzle. Some of the younger ninjas who came back to their senses, the sound of gasping for air again and again remembered. At the same time, the eyes looking at Hanxing became more respectful, and even some people looked at Tsunade with a hint of envy in their eyes. This is Master Tsunade's disciple. If I had such a disciple, I would be able to laugh in my dreams. Tsunade felt the envious eyes from Ruowu around him, and his delicate body straightened instantly, and those eyes were not too proud. Cough cough cough. Coughing, Tsunade said, what area do you want? Be sure to stay away from the crowds of Konoha, on the edge, and there must be water. Hanxing groaned. Lu Ju. Tsunade waved his hand and brought out the special military division. There is one. Not far from the Valley of the End, there is a small sea area. Although it is small, it is more than enough to hold 3 tails. The only bad thing is that it is a little far from Konoha, Lu Ju thought. Advertisement. It's okay. That's it. If you think it's small, it can shrink a little by itself, Hanxing said indifferently. If that's the case, then it's settled, Tsunade said directly. Don't worry, it has become my summoning beast. It won't destroy it, and it won't hurt anyone, as long as you don't provoke it, Hanxing explained as if he could see the worries of the people around him. Hearing Hanxing's words, the hearts of some ninjas suddenly relaxed. With Hanxing's assurance, there will be no problem. The water is bright and clear, and the mountains are beautiful. On the sparkling river, the water is crystal clear, and you can clearly see the smooth pebbles at the bottom and the fish that swim flexibly. Hanxing stood vertically in midair, looking at this large and small sea with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. He bit his index finger, quickly formed marks on his hands, filled his body with chakra, and snorted, summoning technique.
In the woods not far from him, Kakashi led the 7th team, Yuhi Hong led the 8th team, Asuma led the 10th team, and Might Guy led the 3rd team, all watching silently there.
Although some of them have already surpassed the blue, but as teachers, they still have to listen. After all, these teachers will not harm them. Look, it's coming. Asuma looked at the Hanxing knot in the air, and said softly to the 3 behind him. Originally, after hearing Hanxing's words in Hokage's office, he wanted to bring the students of his class to meet the world, but he didn't expect to see Kakashi and others leading his students as soon as he arrived here. Well, all of a sudden, these woods have become a little crowded. Roar. Advertisement at this moment, a huge roar resounded all around like Hongjong Dalu, shaking Kakashi and the others, their scalps tingling. At the same time, an incomparably evil chakra emanated from that roar, and a violent hurricane quietly emanated, blowing towards Kakashi and the others. Is this the power of the tailed beast? Feeling the chakra and the giant roar, Fang narrowed his eyes and said with a pale face. Beneath him, Akamaru was already under the pressure, and his frightened limbs were directly paralyzed to the ground. It's really powerful, Shikamaru murmured as well, and looked at Naruto with a vague look in his eyes. Humph. What a shame for our tailed beasts. It turned into a summoning beast. 9 Tails said disdainfully in the dark sewer. But it seems to have forgotten that it was the first tailed beast to be a summoning beast for humans. No matter what everyone was thinking, Hanxing said angrily after seeing 3 Tails Isofu shouting in midair. Okay. Don't be noisy. From now on, this will be your living area. I promise you that no one will disturb you here, so you can live here with peace of mind. Okay. It's a little too small, 3 Tails Isofuji complained. Then your body becomes smaller. Don't think I don't know that all of you tailed beasts can control their bodies freely. Hanxing pouted. How do you know? 3 Tails stared at Hanxing, his right eye glowing like a lantern. This matter is rarely known. It is a secret among their tailed beasts. How did the people in front of them know about it? 3 Tails felt that his new owner was a bit mysterious. What's the point of thinking about this? You 9 big-tailed beasts are all chakra aggregates, they can't get bigger or smaller, even fools don't believe it. Hanxing looked contemptuous. Chapter 239 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Of course he couldn't tell the truth, he could only say so. 3 Tails was a little silent. I thought that the secret of their tailed beasts being bigger and smaller was unknown, but I didn't expect. Do you humans know about this? Almost. I can't say I know, just think about it a little bit, Hanxing shrugged. After placing the 3 Tails, Hanxing appeared in front of Kakashi and the others and said with a smile, Yo, they're all there. Yeah. I brought Naruto and the others to see the world. Unexpectedly, they had the same plans as me, Kakashi said weakly. What about now? I still have something to do. As for you guys, do whatever you want, Kakashi said, glancing at Naruto and disappearing in place. Afterwards, Asuma and Yuhika and Guy also left. Hey, Hanxing. That's the tailed beast. It's so big, it feels bigger than the fox in my stomach, Naruto said excitedly. Hanxing is a little speechless. This Naruto is not an ordinary rough nerve. Is this what you are dealing with now? Helplessly said, speaking of which, you and 3 Tails are also somewhat related. If you have time, you can come here to chat with 3 Tails about everyday things, improve your relationship, and understand the world of the lower-tailed beast, which will be good for you. Advertisement. The 2 days of practice are at a critical moment. When I have time, I'll come and chat with it. Naruto touched his chin with a serious look. Hanxing. You Guy, your strength is getting more and more terrifying, Shikamaru lazily complained. You're wrong. Hasn't his strength always been so terrifying? Choji interjected. Neji and Xiao Li nodded in agreement. Hanxing looked at the crowd who seemed to be watching monkeys, and a black line appeared on his forehead. Turning his head to the 2 women Ino and Hinata next to him, he said softly, Let's go home. X2 hearing the voices of the 2 women, Hanxing wrapped his arms around the waist under the gazes of all Xiaoqiang. His figure flashed and disappeared from everyone's eyes. This wave of operations has made other people's faces as dark as the bottom of a pot. This wave of dog food is really hard to prevent. Back home, it was nearly 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hanxing and the two girls were sitting on the table in the living room with a serious face. He planned to show off with the two girls, otherwise it would be unfair to Kushina and the others. I have something to tell you. Hanxing took a deep breath and said solemnly. What? Ino said. A little angry, but more surprised and happy. You are so good, isn't it normal to have many women? Besides, there are many excellent people in this world with many wives. Ino hugged Hanxing and said calmly. I don't know if the two women will treat him like this after he said it. By the time Hanxing finished speaking, the sky had already darkened. Advertisement, yes. When Terumi Mei arrives, I will take you to get to know each other. Hanxing's heart was calm, and he said softly. Really, Hanxing said honestly, it's rare to see Ino like this. Hanxing sighed in his heart, guessing that Ino would choose to leave. Speaking out, you may be a little unhappy, or even. You just said you're all ready from Hanxing. Right? Are you all ready? Ino stared at Hinata and exclaimed in surprise. Ah. No. Hinata, what did you just say? At this moment, Ino got off Hanxing and exclaimed. Organized the language, and told the two girls about going to the ancient country of Lulan, absorbing the dragon veins, and accidentally traveling in the past, as well as the feelings of Tsunade and others. After the two women heard it, their expressions changed unpredictably, but they were always within the range of shock. After all, this was too mysterious for them. Yeah. Facing Ino's question, Hinata nodded with a flushed face. Let me and Ino go to meet Master Gang and the others sometime. They have waited for you for more than 10 years, and this kind of feeling can't be let down. Yes. Because, to return to the original time and space, speaking, for them it is more than 10 years, but for me it is an instant. No, I've been deceived by you for more than 10 years. You have filled my heart, and I can't leave if I want to leave, Ino said in a low voice. That's right. Let's talk, if there is anything, we will take care of it together. Ino also stepped forward at this time, hugged Hanxing from behind, and said softly. Hanxing's face was stunned for a moment. Looking at Ino's expressionless expression, he cautiously asked, Aren't you angry? Feeling the familiar fragrance of the two women, Hanxing said solemnly, I've made you feel wronged, and I will definitely treat you well in the future? What? Hinata wondered. Advertisement, that's about it. After Hanxing finished speaking, he looked at the two girls with a little panic, like elementary school students who made a mistake, waiting for the decision of the two girls. Feel sorry, to be honest, he really doesn't want to be separated from the two women. After all, he has been with the two women for more than 10 years, and the relationship is not as deep as Ino and Hinata. If the two of them lose one, he doesn't know what to do. Say it. No matter what happens, we will be on your side. Hinata's small white and tender hand grabbed Hanxing's arm with a hint of shyness on her face. Angry? Why are you angry? My man is Senjuhan, the god of ninja world. I'm too happy to be happy. As soon as he finished thinking, he saw Ino rushing towards him quickly, threw him in his arms, and threw him to the ground. Really? Ino frowned. So? You're not leaving me? Hanxing was a little excited. Seeing the tenderness of the two women, Hanxing's heart felt like a needle had been pricked, and he felt very uncomfortable. He was thinking about how much he would have done if he hadn't returned to before the Third World War. It's a pity, it's too late. Hinata didn't speak, just walked behind Hanxing, hugged him silently, and said softly, I'm yours now, as the saying goes, if you marry a chicken, you marry a dog, and no matter what you do, I will choose to support it, never leave you. After a while, Ino came back to his senses, put his chin in one hand, and said calmly, So, Senjuhan, who was rumored to be the new god of the ninja world more than 10 years ago, is you? Alas! Hanxing sighed, feeling the tenderness of the two women. Saying that, he got up with Ino in his arms, turned his head to look at Hinata, and waited for her answer. I believe in you. You used to be like this, Hinata said softly. His hands and feet were like octopuses, sticking to Hanxing. His face was flushed, and he shouted excitedly, Oh! I didn't expect you to be Senjuhan, god of ninja world. That's great, too alright. This is my idol. I mean, Kushina and the others, chapter 240 previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement There is nothing hard to admit, anyway, I and Ino are Hanxing women sooner or later, so admitting is nothing. Ah! Hinata was one step ahead. Ino pouted, a little unhappy. Seeing Ino's expression, Hinata was taken aback for a moment, then she pursed her lips and smiled. Right. At this moment, Ino grabbed Hanxing's collar and said with a serious expression, Sister Kushina and the three of them have already. Hanxing is a little speechless. Is this what you are focusing on now? Ino has been completely fed by him. He scratched his head and nodded awkwardly. What? Ino felt like a bolt from the blue, and the whole person became lost. With a sad face, he said, so, among all of you, I'm the only one left. Speaking of which, Ino's face became a little hot. After all, she is still a beautiful girl. Even if she is careless, she is still a little hard to say about this kind of thing. Damn it, Ino clenched his fist. Hinata, let's cook. Saying that, he pulled Hinata and glared at Hanxing, and went out to buy ingredients. Hanxing is a little confused. What is the situation? Afterwards, the two women started to get busy in the kitchen. 2 hours later, Hanxing looked at the huge table full of people and felt pretty good. Thank you for your hard work. He smiled softly at the two women, and took a piece of meat and put it in his mouth. It tastes good, but it's a little weird. Hanxing smacked his lips. Advertisement. Hearing Hanxing's words, Ino and Hinata's face turned a little rosy. After all, these are. What's wrong with you? Your face is so red, are you sick? It's okay, Ino said quickly. You have to finish all the dishes on this table for me today, but don't waste my and Hinata's hearts. Okay. Don't worry. Wrap it on me. Hanxing patted his chest. The dishes on this table are the love meals of the two girls, Ino and Hinata, and they will finish it without them saying it. Half an hour later, Hanxing swept away the food in front of him, not even the soup left. What only puzzled him was that after eating these, he felt his body was warm, like being burned by fire, and his face became red, and even when he spoke, he could clearly see 2 white streaks when he exhaled. Cigarette. There seems to be a breath on the body, and the eyes looking at the two women become hot. You give me. What kind of meal are you eating? Hanxing said with a difficult expression. With his current sage body, there is no such problem in his body at all. Could it be? Hanxing has some guesses in his heart. Cow turtle, tiger turtle, sheep, deer, bear and turtle soup. Ino counted his fingers and said seriously. Listening to Ino's words, Hanxing's face turned green. So meow. It's no wonder he can't even be his sage body. Fortunately, he has some sage body, and his physique is tyrannical, otherwise he would have exploded and died. I also took some ginseng, Ganoderma lucidum and other tonic medicines from the family for more than 10 years. Hinata said weakly. Hanxing. He felt like he was going to be played alive by Ino and Hinata. Those things are already enough tonic, plus those medicinal herbs. Advertisement don't say it, he can't stand the pressure. Back home, Hinata had woken up and was cooking while Ino was still asleep. There is a long road on the towering and precipitous peaks, which is called Chu Mingshan. At night, people will come here to race for a whole night, in order to compete for the honor of the supreme car god of Chu Mingshan. You can tell by looking at me, Hanxing smiled bitterly. They didn't know about it last night, but now, knowing that it will definitely not be like this. Seeing Hanxing's serious exhaustion, Hinata felt a little distressed. Open the window, ventilate and breathe. Even after such a long time, the gasoline smell is still very strong. Hanxing took Ino and Hinata to experience the extreme drag racing here for 3 hours. Even Hinata with the help of white eyes couldn't stand it. In the Senju courtyard, Kushina, who had already fallen asleep, opened her eyes in an instant when she heard the movement. After feeling Hanxing's breath, she returned to her original state. Hanxing reluctantly told Kushina what happened tonight. It's all right. It's all over. Just don't do this in the future. Just put a little less. Hanxing rubbed Hinata's head. Today is really a dog. Hanxing cursed. Hanxing doesn't care either. As he said that, he put on his clothes, and his figure disappeared in a flash. By the time we left Tsunade, the sky was already bright. Peeved. Ha ha ha. You have today too. Kushina laughed directly, and then, A little worried, then your body is okay? The courtyard was very deserted, with only Tsunade alone. Not even Anbu, Hanxing appeared here in a flash. What do you think? Hanxing said angrily. Hanxing slept with the sky and the earth changing color, the sun and the moon had no light, and when he woke up, the sky was completely dark. Advertisement looking at Tsunade sleeping soundly, it seems that Tsunade is exhausted. That, I didn't know it was like this, Hinata whispered. 4 hours later, Hanxing looked at Kushina, who was already unconscious, and while looking at his body, the electromagnetic induction sent out, and he ran towards Tsunade's position instantly. Hinata. Why don't you take a good rest? Hanxing said to Hinata wearily. The figure flashed and plugged all the doors, then he looked at Ino with a grim look on his face. Why are you here? Kushina said lazily after seeing Hanxing coming. Tsunade's location is not far from here. As a Hokage, she naturally has her own residence. It was also a courtyard of the Senju family in the past, but she usually doesn't live here. Today, because of Terumi Mei's affairs, she directly handed everything over to the deer after a long time. I went back to sleep. What do you think? Hanxing said angrily. Afterwards, I walked towards Hinata with a trace of exhaustion in my eyes. I can't do this, even if I have a sage body. No, Hinata shook her head quickly. It's all right. Hinata smiled softly, looked at Hanxing's eyes, and said worriedly, are you all right? Hinata nodded shyly. I'm going to sleep for a while, and I won't eat breakfast. Hanxing yawned. As a last resort, Hanxing could only send them home and watch them fall asleep with exhausted faces. What's the matter? Why are you so red? Are you sick? Kushina looked at Hanxing, who looked like a fiery man, with a hint of worry in her tone of surprise. Looking at the two women who were already asleep, Hanxing looked at the extremely red body and murmured, alas. Sin. 46% Chapter 241 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw Ino and Hinata looking at him with worried expressions, and seeing him wake up, their faces suddenly became happy. Hanxing, you woke up. Are you okay? Ino asked worriedly when he woke up. It's okay. Hanxing got up, feeling that his body had returned to its original state. The recovery ability of Sage Body is really not covered. That's fine. Ino patted his chest and let out a long breath. Let's get up and eat when you wake up, Kushina said in the kitchen with a grumpy head. Kushina. Why are you here? Hanxing was a little surprised. It was me and Ino who asked Sister Kushina to come over, Hinata whispered. Hanxing glanced at Ino and Hinata with a hint of tenderness in his eyes, then thanked my two cuties. No thanks, family. You're welcome. Ino waved his hand directly, full of pride. At the dinner table, the two girls, Kushina and Hinata, were talking and laughing about some homely things, but Hanxing himself was left aside, which made him extremely depressed. However, seeing the harmonious appearance of the three girls, Hanxing felt very warm inside. These people are the people who will accompany him through the rest of his life. Husband. Your house is a little small. Why don't you move to my place? It's fine for you to live alone here, but if you live with Tsunade and us in the future, it will be a bit crowded here. Anyway, you are also a member of the Senju clan, and it was admitted by Tsunade-sama. If you move back, other people won't gossip. At this time, Kushina said. Exactly, Hanxing mused. He used to live alone and it was nothing, but now with Kushina and other 4 daughters, plus Terumi Mei, there are 6 people. This room is indeed a little small. Advertisement, then. Where are you two? Hanxing looked at the Hinata girls. With you of course. Ino rolled his eyes. I'll go wherever you go. Hanxing. Hinata also whispered.
Okay, let's find a good time in 2 days and move into Kushina's place to live. It just so happens that the courtyard is big enough for us to live together. Hanxing thought for a moment and pondered.
Next, after a few people finished eating in peace, Kushina left. In her words, she was a little tired last night, so go back and rest early. After watching Kushina leave, Hanxing hugged Hinata and Ino, and the three went to Chu Ming Mountain for a ride and went home to sleep. Time is like flowing water, and a week passed quietly in the blink of an eye. During this week, I accompanied the two girls during the day, and even Kushina went shopping in cities far away in the land of fire, and occasionally drove by car at night, and then went to the cultivation space to practice. At his current level, ordinary cultivation is no longer effective. What Hanxing is practicing now is the yin and yang escape technique, and the changes in the attributes of the 5 elements. There is also the 8th gate of 8 inner gates. Up to now, there is still no movement at all. Hanxing feels more and more that his method is wrong. The sun hangs high and shines on the earth. At the entrance of Konoha, the high-level Konoha leaders headed by Lu Ju were looking forward to it, as if they were waiting for someone. After a while, one after another figure appeared in everyone's sight. The first person is a mature and beautiful woman, with a slender figure, beautiful and moving, and her whole body exudes the charm she should have all the time. She was wearing a long blue dress with a hat on her head. The blue shadow on the hat was so bright and dazzling. This person was none other than Terumi Mei, who came from the land of water. Advertisement behind her: there are 5 or 6 mist ninja elites, one of whom is Changjuru. After a while, several people appeared at the gate of Konoha. Mizukage-sama. Welcome to Konoha for a friendly visit. I'm Konoha's advisor, Narashikuji. Shikaku stepped up and said respectfully. Nara Shikahisa. I've heard of you. Your IQ can be said to be the first in Konoha. Terumi Mei smiled. Thank you Mizukage-sama for your compliment. Lu Ju quickly bowed his head and thanked him. No, I'm telling the truth. Terumi Mei waved her hand and raised her brows. Why, isn't that big-breasted girl from Tsunade coming to pick me up? Hearing Terumi Mei's words, Shikuji waited for Kakashi and the others to be nothing. They knew some rumors. But some young ninjas can't do it, thinking that this is insulting them. Hokage-sama, looking at Terumi Mei's eyes without the enthusiasm just now, with a trace of unkindness, although they agree with what you said. This, Master Tsunade has something to do. I didn't come. Lu Ju quickly said with a cold sweat on his forehead. Sure enough. The rumors are true. Tsunade-sama and Mizukage-sama don't seem to be very compatible. While the two were talking, they had already entered the village. Mizukage-sama, are we going to see Hokage-sama now, or let me show you around Kimura first? Shikaku suggested. Yeah. Let's turn Konoha first, Terumi Mei said.
Suddenly, a smile appeared on her face. Looking at a voice in front of her, she ran over quickly, and said happily, Husband. Are you here to pick me up? You and Lu Ju still have some work to discuss. We'll go back when you're done talking. Hanxing touched Terumi Mei's cheek, with a hint of pampering in his eyes.
Advertisement not far away, Lu Ju and the others who saw this scene suddenly stared in surprise, unable to believe that the scene in front of them was real. It was Wu Ren who followed Terumi Mei, and he was very calm. After seeing Hanxing coming, he quickly whispered, Master Han. Hanxing waved his hand. Changjuru, I'll leave the matter here to you. My husband and I are going home. Terumi Mei said to Changjuru, and handed the Mizukage hat to Changjuru. Afterwards, regardless of Lu Ju and the others behind him, he hugged Hanxing's arm and left with Hanxing's face looking like a little woman. After the figures of Terumi Mei and Hanxing gradually disappeared, Lu Ju and the others came back to their senses. Now he finally understands why the 5th Mizukage of the Land of Water suddenly visited Konoha, which had already been captured by Hanxing. Lu Ju silently looked at the ugly old friend Yamanaka Kaiichi next to him. Yes. I don't care about my own business anyway. That's not right. Is it rumored that Terumi Mei is not Senju Han's woman? When thinking of the name of those mist ninjas who called Hanxing just now, Mr. Han, he thought it was those mist ninjas who called it wrong. Now it seems that this is a wrong name. Could it be that Hanxing is Senju Han, who has disappeared from the ninja world for more than 10 years? In his mind, Lu Ju suddenly thought of this possibility, and as soon as this idea appeared, he couldn't stop it. If so, that would explain why Tsunade-sama had Kushina and Hanxing team up together. I'm afraid Kushina's appearance is also because Hanxing is Senju Han. Chapter 242 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Thinking of this, Lu Ju didn't dare to think about it. He felt that he had discovered a big secret. If so, Isn't Tsunade-sama also Hanxing's woman? Then Ino and Hinata are not married to Senju Han? At this time, Lu Ju looked at Hai Yi no longer with a look of ridicule, but with a hint of envy. Why did he give birth to a daughter? There is a son-in-law who is the god of ninja, and the Ino family can flourish for at least 100 years. But, no. Hanxing is only in his teens now, so how could he be Senju Han? Lu Ju fell into a misunderstanding. Sakagyu. Shikaku. At this moment, Yamanaka Kaiichi reminded in a low voice, pulling at Shikaji's shirt. Hearing Hai Yi's words, Lu Ju came back to his senses, looked at the young face in front of him, and quickly apologized. I'm sorry. I just thought about something and lost my mind. It's okay, Shikahisa-senpai. What should we do now? Chojuro said shyly. He really can't hold this kind of battle. It's okay. Relax first, because of the relationship between your Mizukage and our Konoha. Don't be so nervous. First take you to see Lord Hokage, and then send a tour guide to play in our Konoha, said with a smile. Is this all right? Don't worry, you Mizukage-sama won't blame you. Lu Ju shook his head. With his IQ, he had long guessed what Terumi Mei was doing here, and these people were probably just an excuse. Advertisement Hanxing at home. Terumi Mei looked at the nervous girls Hinata and Ino with a smile on the corner of her mouth. This is the sisters Hinata and Ino. I've been listening to Hanxing for a long time. Hello Terumi Mei. First time meeting, Hinata said in unison. After saying this, Terumi Mei directly took out a seal scroll from her arms, which was filled with bottles and jars, and said with a smile, these are the specialties of Wu Nin village, and there are some cosmetics, which are given to the two sisters. Let's meet and greet. Looking at the varieties of different colors inside, the two girls Hinata and Ino are completely dazzled. Although they are all princesses of a family, and there are some cosmetics, but where have I seen so many, and some are even reserved for daimyo ladies. It didn't take long for the three to become acquainted. Hanxing shook his head and smiled. This was bought? Maybe this is the tacit understanding between women. In the afternoon, on the streets of Konoha, Ino and Terumi Mei were hanging out, and behind Hanxing was holding a big push, and there was even a trace of sweat on his forehead. During the period, there is nothing to look for trouble. After all, whether it is Hanxing or Ino and Hinata, the current strength has properly entered the ranks of elite Jonin. It is also in the forefront of elite Jonin, and naturally no one came to provoke it. In the evening, several people returned to Hanxing's house. Hanxing put the things in his hands aside, and then lay down on the floor in a big letter. Too tired, he thought that with Sage Body, he would not feel tired when shopping. In fact, he thought too much. Even with Sage Body, it can't change the fact that his legs are sore now. In the future, even if he kills him, he won't pay a woman to go shopping. If he has time, he might as well fight Obito. After that, the three girls walked directly to the kitchen, and he himself became a grandfather-like existence, waiting for the meal. Advertisement click. There was a sound at the door, and Kushina in home clothes came over, seeing Hanxing's tired appearance, and said worriedly, "Are you okay? Could it be that you haven't recovered from what happened a few days ago?" "It's all right. It's just that I went shopping with Terumi Mei today. I'm a little tired," Hanxing said truthfully. "Terumi Mei? Mizukage? She's here?" Kushina frowned. "Yeah. It's cooking inside," Hanxing said. "I'm going to help," Kushina said, ignoring Hanxing, and walked straight to the kitchen. Hanxing raised his head and felt that Kushina's tone was a bit wrong. Looking at the posture, he felt that it was necessary to go to Shikaku's house for a meal. Thinking of doing it, Hanxing was about to take action when the door was pushed open again, and Tsunade walked in with a gloomy face. "Where's the little babysitter Terumi Mei?" "In the kitchen," Hanxing pointed. "The kitchen? Forget it. Let's wait until she's done cooking." Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then, like Hanxing, he sat there like an uncle, waiting for the meal. An hour later, the four girls came out with the food and saw Tsunade sitting there. "Sister Tsunade, you're here," Hinata and the two girls spoke quickly. "Sister Tsunade. Why are you here?" Kushina also spoke at this time, but there was a hint of surprise in her eyes. "I didn't hear that Terumi Mei's sister came here. Come and see," Tsunade said with a smile. "Yo. Who am I? It's a girl with big breasts. Terumi Mei smiled. Advertisement. No way is better than your little babysitter. Tsunade was not to be outdone. As soon as the two met face to face, sparks appeared in their eyes, staring at each other. Hanxing shook his head secretly. After so many years, the two of them still haven't changed at all, like the tip of a needle facing a weed on. He doesn't care about the two of them either. He's used to it before and greets Kushina and the others directly for dinner, regardless of the two of them. Kushina is fine, but when did the two Hinata girls see such a battle? They watched it carefully. The aura around them was too strong. Big-breasted girl. Go outside if you can. At this moment, Terumi Mei said. Go. It's scary to be an old lady. Tsunade was not afraid at all. Coming outside the Hanxing courtyard, Terumi Mei said directly, Old rules, before you could beat me because I was young, if you can beat me today, I will recognize you as a big man in the future. Humph. Come on. The old lady was able to crush you in those 3 days, and she can crush you now. Tsunade snorted coldly. Hum. 2 auras suddenly burst out from him. Like 2 pale white pillars of imposing light, rising into the sky, in the dim sky. Like 2 pillars that reach the sky, they are so dazzling and dazzling. Both Terumi Mei and Tsunade burst out with their monstrous aura towards the constant pressure. That's right, that's what Tsunade and Terumi Mei used to do more than 10 years ago at the Uzumaki Kingdom ruins. Terumi Mei was still young at the time, and although the two of them were not pleasing to the eye, they couldn't really do it, so they used the momentum. The results can be imagined. At that time Tsunade was at the peak of both strength and physical strength, and he was also a cage-level boss, and the abusive Terumi Mei did not want it. Chapter 243 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Now, more than 10 years later, Terumi Mei has always wanted to be ashamed. In fact, she doesn't have any hatred with Tsunade, just angry. After Tsunade crushed her, she kept laughing at her. She came here today not only for Hanxing, but also for this matter. The two collided with momentum, and a crack appeared on the ground of Hanxing's house. Humph. All these years. I've been working hard to cultivate and avenge my original revenge. Terumi Mei sneered at the same aura, with a hint of pride in her eyes. She still vaguely remembers the feeling of loss when she was crushed by Tsunade when she competed with Tsunade. It's comparable to now, not to mention how cool she feels. Little nanny. Don't be too happy. You really thought you were going to win. I don't know who lost and cried in the distance before. Tsunade is also not to be outdone. Humph. Then take a look, Terumi Mei said gloomily. At the door, Hinata and the others looked at each other as they looked at each other with swords drawn. They won't fight. Hinata whispered. Why do they seem to have a deep hatred? Ino said the same, thinking about his head. With a hint of excitement in Kushina's eyes, she wanted to try, and after thinking about it, she dismissed the idea. Walking into the living room, looking at Hanxing who was eating with a calm expression, he asked suspiciously, You are so calm, aren't you afraid of them fighting? Hanxing shook his head. I got used to it more than 10 years ago. They're like this, it's good to end the competition. Yeah. I'm used to it. Kushina had a sly smile on the corner of her mouth. Advertisement, right. What's the matter? Your smile. How can you give me a bad feeling? Hanxing frowned. You turn on the perception and see, damn it. Forgot that this is Konoha, not the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex. They must be making such a fuss. The whole Konoha must know about it. Hanxing patted his forehead. He seemed to have forgotten something. It turned out to be this. In fact, just as Hanxing thought. After seeing 2 powerful auras rising into the sky, some Jonins from Konoha rushed here one after another. Jonin and below are automatic retreats, because the 2 auras are too strong, they are a burden to go up, and they can only watch slowly from a distance. Konoha, Yakiniku Restaurant. The high-level officials such as Shikuji and Hai warmly received Chongjuru and other strong mist ninjas. Sakiku Senpai. Your Konoha's barbecue is so delicious. It tastes good too, much better than our Kirin village. After a day's communication, Chongjuro was not as shy as he was at the beginning. Haha. Of course. This barbecue and Ichiraku ramen are a must of our Konoha. Today I brought you late for the barbecue, and tomorrow I will take you to try our Ichiel ramen. Lu Ju's slightly drunk eyes patted Chongjuru's shoulder, and spoke with great enthusiasm. After all, this is considered a business trip and it is paid by Mr. Hokage, and he can also have a good luxury. Lu Ju's heart is about to be overjoyed. Okay. Thank you Lu Ju senpai for your hospitality these days. It's okay. The family doesn't speak two languages, Lu Ju said indifferently. At this moment, two tyrannical auras suddenly came from a distance, causing Lu Ju and Hai Yi, who were slightly drunk, to frown and their expressions became serious. Advertisement. This momentum is Mizukage-sama. Could it be that Mizukage-sama is in danger? Chojuro stood up directly, his face solemn. Looking at Lu Ju and the others, he said, Senior Lu Ju, one of those two auras is that of Mizukage-sama. Mizukage-sama should be in danger. I think you Konoha should join us to protect Mizukage-sama. Shikajiu, Haiichi and Dingza looked at each other. Afterwards, Lu Ju said in surprise, You said one of them was your Mizukage-sama? That's right. I've seen Mr. Mizukage's aura many times, and I won't admit it wrong. Chojuro nodded firmly. I think we'd better not go. Lu Ju wiped his chin in embarrassment. To tell you the truth, I know one of them, and it is the aura of our Lord Hokage. You mean? The other one belongs to you, Lord Hokage? Chojuro frowned, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. What are you doing, Lord Hokage? What? Is this the way you treat guests in the land of fire? After Chongjuro heard Shikaji's words, his face changed instantly and became cold. Chongjuro, calm down. I'm afraid you don't know the relationship between Hokage-sama and Mizukage-sama. Shikaku smiled wryly. Relation? What's the relationship? Speaking of which, Chongjuro was even more angry. Our country of water, Mizukage, came to Konoha in person. You Hokage are so good, you don't even see anyone, and now you're fighting, can you? Seeing Chongjuru's expression, Shikaku knew what Chongjuro was thinking, and said solemnly, Mizukage-sama's husband Kun, do you know who he is? No, Senju Han. We all know. Then do you know who Tsunade-sama's husband is? Lord Tsunade. You Hokage? Why don't I remember that you Hokage-sama got married? Chojuro frowned. Then you Mizukage-sama got married? Yamanaka Kaiichi asked. Advertisement. No. Chojuro answered honestly, with a bad premonition in his heart. That's okay. We Hokage-sama are not married, but we also have a husband, Lu Ju teased. Have a husband? Could it be? Chojuro suddenly thought of something, his eyes widened, and he swallowed. Could it be that your Hokage-sama's husband is also Senju-sama? That's right. Lu Ju and the others nodded. The direction in which the momentum erupted is exactly where the other person is. Yamanaka-kai said, and he still knew the location of his house for most of his life. You mean? Chongjuro is a little overwhelmed. After all, the news was really shocking to him. After all, he was only a nearly 20-year-old child, and he had never heard of the relationship between Mizukage and Hokage. He's here. I don't think the two of them will fight, but, just in case, why don't we go take a look? Lu Ju asked in a low voice. Let's go. I don't want to see what happened to Mizukage-sama, Chojuro said anxiously. After a few people finished speaking, Lu Ju settled the bill and hurried towards the two sources of momentum. When they arrived, they found that there were powerful Konoha Jonin everywhere around the room, at least dozens of them at a glance. In the distance, there are also Chunins standing on the roof, waiting to obey orders. When Lu Ju saw this, his head was big. So many people, Tsunade-sama and Mizukage-sama didn't know how to restrain themselves. Pushing aside the crowd, I saw a few people standing neatly in front of them. Their faces were indifferent, with a trace of excitement on their faces, without the slightest vigilance. Chapter 244 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Kakashi. Asuma. Anko. Seeing these people in front of him, Lu Ju's face was a little ugly. Kakashi. What are you doing? Don't you pull Hokage-sama and Mizukage-sama away. Kakashi rolled his eyes and said, Lord Lukyu, you'd better take a look for yourself, he said, making way for Lukyu and the others. Pulled away. The two of them didn't fight. What did they pull? Besides, even if they fought, what would happen? Do I dare to pull? Kakashi complained in his heart. Shikajiu took Chongjuru and the Mist Ninja Elite, and the scene they saw made their three views shattered. In the small courtyard, Tsunade and Terumi Mei released their own aura, and while they released, they were still mocking and abusing. Girl with big breasts. You have the momentum that you used to crush me. Little nanny. You will only be arrogant, humph. Can I be good at talking about a big-breasted girl? No matter how she is better than you, she will only be incompetent and furious. Chongjuru and Shikuji and the others looked at each other, and Chongjuru whispered, Senior Luju, what should I do now? Remove the alert, pretend nothing happened, and let the people around you leave quickly, Luju said solemnly. Chongjuro thinks the same, otherwise, the scene of their Mizukage and Hokage vixens scolding the streets will probably spread to the entire ninja world. Kakashi turned to look at Kakashi and the others who were watching the excitement. Kakashi, Asuma, Anko. You evacuate the crowd and tell them that Hokage is playing with Mizukage, no big deal. Advertisement, well. Got it, Kakashi said lazily, he still wanted to watch it here. The efficiency of Kakashi and others was still very fast. After a while, the ninjas gathered around Konoha left one after another, leaving only some powerful jonin. It's hard for Luju and others to say anything about these stay. Anyway, these people know the grievances between Hokage and Mizukage, and they won't say it. What's more, there are some patriarch-level characters in it, and he doesn't want to offend him, so he has to go with them. After an hour, I saw that the two of them didn't stop at all, not to mention Hanxing was tired of it. Even Luju and others who thought it was novel at first were also tired of it. It's just a few words back and forth, and I won't really fight, I will only talk about it, can I not be annoying? I didn't see that, except for him, Dingzo and others, and the Chojuro Kirin elite. Are the others gone? Okay. You too. Come back for dinner. Haven't let people see the jokes enough? Where are Hokage and Mizukage looking like? Hanxing roared impatiently. Big-breasted girl. Forget it this time. Let's compare next time. Terumi Mei snorted coldly, and immediately put away her momentum and walked towards Hanxing obediently, bowing her head, as if waiting for Hanxing's reprimand. I'm afraid of you. Tsunade replied without any fear, and walked over to Hanxing with the same expression on his face. Let's go back to eat. Hanxing said to the two women, turned to look at Luju, and said angrily, okay. Let's go, it's not fun anymore. Hanxing said, close the door of the cottage, boom. The sound of the door closing resounded in the ears of Luju and the others. Is that really our Mizukage? Chojuro murmured in shock as he recalled that Mizukage looked like a little girl just now. Advertisement, yes. It's normal, just wait until you get used to it. Shikuku patted Chongjuru on the shoulder and comforted him. Afterwards, Shikahisa and the others sent Chongjuru to the post house that Konoha built exclusively for the messengers of various countries. After saying hello to Chongjuru, Shikuji, Kaiichi and the others left. At a crossroads, Dingzuo left, only Luju and Hai-Yi were left. The narrow street was brightly lit, and the facial expressions of the two of them could be clearly seen. Luju. After a moment of silence, Hai-Yi spoke up. I know what you want to ask. Don't you have the answer in your heart? Luju said. As early as when Terumi Mei was called Husband Hanxing, and Kirin was called Master Hanxing Han, Luju saw that Hai-Yi was busy and didn't want to talk. Being able to hold back the current problem is also considered to be a relatively high self-restraint of Hai-Yi. But, how is that possible? Hanxing is the one we grew up watching, why is he Senju Han? Hai-Yi said a little uneasy. Yeah, we really grew up watching him. I thought about it for a long time and couldn't think of a reason, but... Luju shook his head, paused and said, just now, I thought of a possibility, and only this explanation can make sense. What is possible? That's because Hanxing traveled to the past by accident. The year he disappeared, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably in our time. Traveling through the past? Yamanaka Kaiichi couldn't believe it, and frowned, is this possible? Advertisement, what's impossible? The ninja world is so big, there are all kinds of wonders, and it sounds absurd to travel through the past, but who knows it's impossible? Lu Ju was smoking a cigarette, his eyes were deep, like a black hole. That's the only way. Everything can be explained. Why did a Senju Han suddenly appear during the Third World War? And why Senju Han has always shown people with a mask? That's because he's afraid of letting others see his face. Change the history of the ninja world? Actually, he didn't know that, when he traveled to the Third War, the history of the ninja world has changed. Lu Ju's plain words made Hai Yishin unable to calm down. If Lu Ju said so, then everything about Senju Han's past would make sense. You don't have to think so much. With Hanxing's love for Ino, you won't be treated badly. The two of them have been inseparable since childhood, and that relationship is not comparable to the three of Tsunade-sama. Just put your heart in your stomach. Lu Ju seemed to know Hai Yi's concerns. Speaking of which, I still envy you. Ino followed Hanxing, the god of the ninja world who disappeared for more than 10 years. The Yamanaka family will surely flourish for at least a few decades. Unfortunately, we don't have a daughter, otherwise. When Lu Ju said these words, the envy in his eyes was undisguised. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect it. This kid Hanxing is so promising. Hearing Lu Ju's persuasion, Yamanaka Kai was relieved. Now that Hanxing and Ino have already cooked raw rice and cooked rice, what's the point of opposing it? And besides, why should it be opposed? Wouldn't it be fragrant to have such a ninja god as his son-in-law? Let's go. Lu Ju. Let's have a drink again. I'll treat you. Hai Yi, who had untied the knot, looked extremely happy, and dragged Lu Ju to the pub. You. That's right. I drank your small treasury today. Lu Ju smiled. The two walked farther and farther, until two blurred shadows finally disappeared into the darkness. Chapter 245 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. At Hanxing's house, looking at Terumi Mei who looks like a little woman, and Tsunade who looks like a tsundere, his head is a little big. Turning his head to look at the three women who were gloating at the misfortune not far away, he glared at them fiercely. The two of you can't be like Kushina's three daughters from now on. You know how to pinch when you meet, and look at what happened today. I guess everyone in Konoha will know tomorrow. Not her yet. X2 Terumi Mei and Tsunade both said at the same time. He was stunned at first, then stared at each other fiercely. All right. Hurry up and eat. After dinner, go home, Hanxing said with a headache. I just arrived in Konoha. I don't have a home. Just sleep here, Terumi Mei said pitifully. Humph. Shameless, and Mizukage. That's it. Tsunade snorted coldly. Seeing that the two were about to quarrel again, Hanxing said angrily, okay. Let's all sleep here tonight. Stop arguing, both of you. We'll move tomorrow. Humph. X2 This night was the most comfortable and uncomfortable night for Hanxing to sleep. Early the next morning, Hanxing greeted the girls to get up and prepare for the move. Advertisement. It is said to be moving. In fact, there is nothing decent in Hanxing's house. Besides, Kushina's house has everything in it, but he just took some changed clothes, and the daily necessities that Hinata's two girls put here, and nothing else. Hanxing's move was very small, and then he cleared some familiar guests. 12 Xiaoqiang, Kakashi and others got acquainted with his new home, and held a small moving banquet. This is a thing of the past. At the banquet, looking at the busy girls, Shikamaru and others, who are single dogs, envy and hate. Not only are Xiaoqiang envied, even Lu Ju is a little envious. These people don't say their identity, but their strength, and each of them can hang him. Hanxing. Today is your housewarming. Come and I'll give you a toast. Lu Ju rolled his eyes and said loudly. Okay. Hanxing nodded happily. He saw Lu Ju's plan at a glance. Hanxing had just finished drinking with Lu Ju when Ding Zuo stood up. Hanxing. I wish you a harmonious and beautiful life. After he finished speaking, he drank the wine in the cup. Hanxing was not polite, he sighed directly, and then Hai Yi, Asuma. They all saw Lu Ju's plan, and they all cooperated, that is, to get Hanxing down. Hanxing never refused to come. His face was indifferent, not panic at all, joking. With a sage body in a previous life known as the Little Wine God, how could he be drunk? Hokage is basically all sake. The degree is very low, similar to the beer in the last world. It didn't take long for Asuma, who had the lowest alcohol consumption, to lose, and then Shikuji. After the banquet was over, it was already late at night. Hanxing's face was a little drunk because of this. The next morning, Hanxing opened his sleepy eyes and looked at the unfamiliar environment next to him. He was stunned for a moment, and then reacted. Advertisement smelling the familiar fragrance around him, Hanxing's face was warm. The person in front of him is none other than Terumi Mei, and not far from him is Kushina, both of them, with both hands around him and one arm. Feeling the softness on his arm, Hanxing reacted immediately. As the saying goes, morning is the time of. Not to mention that there are two. By the time Hanxing came out of the room, the sun was already high. Tsunade had already gone to Hokage's office, and the two girls Hinata and Ino had also left, leaving only this warm meal on the table. After dinner, Hanxing walked towards Hokage's office. You want the Sharingan? What do you want that for? You don't seem to need that with your strength? Tsunade frowned. Did this kid drink too much last night, and came to her early this morning to ask for the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan? And the Senju clan has awakened his grandfather's sage body. What does he want the Sharingan for? Do a test. Hanxing said truthfully. Now that the spiritual body in his mind has reached the limit, if he wants to break through again, he needs to absorb more spiritual energy. He has a hunch that after the spiritual energy breaks through again, his 8th gate will be settled. It's just that he is too slow to absorb the energy of the shadow, so he thought of a way. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan and the white eyes of the Hyuga clan are both the products of the shadows, that is to say, the two themselves carry a lot of spiritual energy. All Hanxing has to do is to see if he can absorb the spiritual energy inside. If he can, he has already thought of where to improve, so he came to Tsunade. You really need Sharingan? Tsunade frowned at Hanxing's anxious look. Need? You don't want to transplant Sharingan, do you? Advertisement. No need. Do a test. If you have it, I will try it face to face with you, and if it doesn't work, I will give it back to you. Hanxing shook his head. Hearing Hanxing's assurance, Tsunade nodded. That's okay. The Uchiha clan exterminated the clan. 3rd Hokage has collected a few Sharingans, I'll get them for you. Saying that, Tsunade left in a hurry. She also wanted to see what Hanxing wanted Sharingan to do. After a while, Tsunade pushed open the door and walked in with a glass bottle with a nutrient solution in it. Inside was an eyeball with a 3-hook jade, which swayed back and forth as Tsunade walked. No. Right in front of me. I'll watch you use it. If I can't, I'll put it back. Tsunade handed the glass bottle to Hanxing. Relax. I'm really doing an experiment. Hanxing took the glass bottle and just held it in his hand. He could feel a lot of spiritual energy coming from it. Opened the bottle cap, reached out and put the Sharingan in the glass bottle in his hand, closed his eyes. The spirit body in his mind opened his eyes, and he could clearly see the black energy in Hanxing's hand. These energies are slowly passing away, although it is very little, but Hanxing can clearly feel it. Sure enough. You guessed right. I just don't know if I can absorb the spiritual energy in Sharingan. A smile appeared on the corner of Hanxing's mouth outside. The spirit body in his mind moved, and began to try to absorb the black energy in his hand. I saw that in the empty world of Hanxing's mind, wisps of black starlight flew out of Hanxing's hands quickly and flew towards Hanxing's spiritual body. It's as beautiful as thousands of rivers return to the sea. The black starlight is like a meteor that pierces the sky one after another. After being baptized by the black thunder and lightning beside Hanxing, it washes away the lead and turns it into the purest source of spiritual energy, which is finally absorbed by Hanxing. As the suction force emitted by the spirit body became stronger, the black energy light group on Hanxing's hand became smaller and smaller. Chapter 246 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. On him, more and more black starlight flew over. After a while, the black light group on Hanxing's hand disappeared without a trace, and was absorbed by Hanxing. Without the black light group in the hand, the suction of the spiritual body in the mind gradually converges. Seeing that the spiritual body in front of him became more and more pure, Hanxing smiled in satisfaction and opened his eyes. Outside, Tsunade looked at Hanxing in surprise. No, to be precise, he looked at the Sharingan in Hanxing's hand. The originally scarlet three-hooked jade eyeballs had now turned into a pool of liquid and appeared on Hanxing's palm. This is... What's going on? What's going on with that Sharingan? Tsunade pointed to the liquid in Hanxing's hand, exclaiming in surprise. It was absorbed by me. What else can I do? Hanxing said indifferently, throwing the liquid in his hand on the ground. Tsunade's mouth twitched, his teeth gritted, and he was on the verge of an explosion. Seeing Tsunade's appearance, Hanxing pouted, and the next time he spoke, this time his voice was much more solemn. In addition to the basic 5 attributes of the ninja world, there are also 2 escapes of yin and yang. You know this. Tsunade nodded. Yin and yang escape, in essence, is developed by spiritual energy and physical energy. The symbols of Yinden are the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan and the white eyes of the Hyuga clan. The sign of Yangden is a strong body, such as the Vortex clan, and the Senju clan. These clans have been far ahead of others since birth. You know the wood style of the Senju family very well, but it's just an application of Yangdun. How is this possible? Advertisement Hanxing's words made Tsunade exclaimed. Wood style is their unique bloodline limit for the Senju clan. Now it can only be regarded as a kind of Yangden technique. How can it not shock her? After a moment, Tsunade frowned slightly. Does that mean that you have mastered Yin escape to absorb the spiritual energy in Sharingan? More or less. What will happen to master Yin-Yang escape? The creation of the void, turning the impossible into a possibility. For example, you have no eyeballs. With the Yin and Yang escape, can you instantly create one for it? Aren't you crazy? What are you doing? Tsunade said in disbelief. No, of course. This is to cultivate the yin-yang escape technique to the ultimate. After organizing the language, Hanxing pondered. He felt that it was necessary to let Tsunade know some history of the ninja world for the later arrangement. I found an ancient secret at a site during the Third World War. An ancient secret? What's written on it? Tsunade frowned. The story of Sage of Six Paths. Sage of Six Paths? Tsunade came with a hint of interest. Ignoring Tsunade's face, Hanxing pondered. After Sage of Six Paths founded ninja, there are 2 sons, one is Indra and the other is Ashura. The eldest son, Indra, inherited the fairy eyes of Sage of Six Paths. He was born with great talent and pride. You can compare him to Uchiha Madara. This made his dissatisfaction even worse until a conflict broke out. Advertisement by the way, after Ashura and Indra died, their chakra did not disappear, but possessed the excellent ninja of the descendants. The battle has been going on. You said it. Who were Ashura and Indra last time? Tsunade said anxiously. At this moment Tsunade was listening with great interest, but Hanxing suddenly stopped talking and was still stuck at the key point, like eating fish with his throat stuck in his throat, extremely uncomfortable. 1,000 years ago? So far away? In ancient times, human beings have been fighting each other since their birth, and wars have continued? Therefore, a test was set up for the 2 of them. Whoever wins is the ninja sect. I don't know when, a big tree appeared on the earth. This big tree is tall and thick, like a giant pillar, towering up to the sky. The second son Ashura, who inherited the sage body, is simple and honest, and his talent is not very good, but he is helpful and can get along with all people. You can regard him as your grandfather by comparing the characters. One more thing, this is very far away. This is exactly why Akatsuki organized the collection of tailed beasts. After the defeat, Indra went far away and swore that his descendants would always be enemies with the Ashura clan, and would never die until the clan was exterminated. Although Ashura was born with poor strength, he was willing to practice hard, so he played in a similar way to Indra, and finally succeeded in defeating Indra and inheriting the ninja sect. And the last chakra possessed ninja of Indra and Ashura was. Hanxing said here, paused, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he looked at Tsunade with a smile. Later, Indra completed the mission test by herself by virtue of her extraordinary strength. Say it. Say it. Tsunade said impatiently. She learned from Jiraiya that the Akatsuki organization wanted to create a weapon that could destroy a large town with one shot, and let people use fear to suppress the war, but she didn't know what that weapon was. In the end, Indra, who thought that ninja was in the bag, did not expect that Sage of Six Paths would pass ninja to his second son Ashura at the end. Advertisement. That's right, exactly what you think. Hanxing nodded and smiled. Hanxing frowned. He felt that he had already told Tsunade anyway, so it would be better to tell her all, or to let Konoha prepare for the next 4 wars. With the help of the crowd, Ashura also successfully completed the mission. The reason why your 2 clans have been fighting during the Sengoku period is that the blood in your body drives you to fight. What? Grandpa and Uchiha Madara. After. A person's shadow fell from the sky, and she will not say what she looks like. Anyway, she is very cold and has been staying by the side of the divine tree. People call her the messenger of the divine tree. Shao organizes a large collection of tailed beasts, and each of them is very amazing in strength, and has the ability to disrupt the ninja world, which is a danger. But these are nothing. The other 2 are really feuding is that Sage of Six Paths is old and wants to choose an heir for ninja. After the precipitation of history, the Indra family has evolved into the current Uchiha family, the Ashura family has evolved into the Senju family, and the branch Whirlpool family. Don't you understand? Hanxing spread his hands, speechless, and said, it's Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. It shouldn't be much different. I don't know very well. That's a farther period than Sage of Six Paths. Tsunade screamed in horror, apparently not thinking that his great-grandfather and Uchiha Madara were the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra. He decided to take back his own ninja by force, and finally Indra and Ashura fought a battle in a deserted place. Difficult. Could it be? Tsunade thought of a possibility. The eldest son Indra often looks down on ordinary people because of his pride, but he is dissatisfied when he sees his younger brother getting along with them. This means the ancient times, thousands of years ago. What else is recorded on the site? At this time, Tsunade felt that the content of the site must be true, otherwise Hanxing couldn't have said it in such detail. Chapter 247 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. This woman is called Otsutsuki Kagaya. Afterwards, a fruit was born on the tree of God. She felt that the world was in great chaos and wanted to stop the war, so she ate the fruit from the tree of God. Otsutsuki Kagaya, who ate the fruit of the sacred tree, immediately possessed the power to sweep the whole world. Soon, the world that had been turbulent was calmed down by her presence. Otsutsuki Kagaya was called the goddess of Mao by the people at that time, and the fruit she ate was called the ancestor of chakra. What? You mean chakra is here? Yeah, don't interrupt, keep listening. Tsunade smirked. You go on. Go on. After the war stopped, Otsutsuki Kagaya gave birth to 2 children. A Otsutsuki Hamura, a Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Because of this, the chakra on her body began to spread out. Because of the fruit of the divine tree, it didn't take long before she began to exercise an arbitrary and cruel rule. Make people live in fear and awe by using their pupil skills. The title of the goddess of Uzuru has gradually become a ghost. Advertisement and Kagaya herself had the desire to unite chakra, so she set her sights on her 2 sons, Otsutsuki Hagoromo and Otsutsuki Hamura. And Yui and Hamura couldn't stand the cruel rule of their mother, so they started to resist and started a fierce battle. In the end, Yui Yumura jointly launched a powerful ninjutsu and sealed Otsutsuki Kagaya on the moon. It should be mentioned here that after eating chakra fruit, Otsutsuki Kagaya can no longer be called a person. It should be 10 Tails Jinchuriki or the sacred tree itself. 10 Tails Jinchuriki. What's the situation? Isn't the ninja world always a big-tailed beast? Why are there 10 tails? Tsunade was a little puzzled. Listen to me, Hanxing said in a deep voice. After Yui and Hamura sealed Otsutsuki Kagaya, the divine tree started to riot. Yui had no choice but to seal the energy in the divine tree in his body. Make it a divine tree pillar force, which can also be called 10 Tails Jinchuriki. It is the seal of the guardian Kagaya on the moon. Hai founded ninja sect after sealing Otsutsuki Kagaya. That's right, Otsutsuki Hagoromo is the sage of 6 paths in later generations. The Hyuga clan is a branch of Sage of Six Paths' younger brother Hamura, because Hamura inherited the eyes of his mother Otsutsuki Kagaya. After that, when Sage of Six Paths was dying, in order to prevent someone from destroying their mother's seal, The divine tree energy in the body was divided into 9 parts using the yin-yang escape technique, and this part is the big-tailed beast now. And Shao organized the collection of tailed beasts in order to resurrect the 10 tails. Let one of them become 10 tails Jinchuriki, and control the ninja world. Hanxing didn't tell the final plan of Black Zetsu, it's not the time, and Tsunade is shocked and speechless without seeing it now. Tsunade's eyes were round at this time, his sexy lips were wide open, but nothing could come out of his mouth. Can't blame her, whoever knows these secrets of the ninja world will do the same. After a long time, Tsunade came back to her senses. She frowned slightly and said solemnly, "So, the Akatsuki organization is to gather the 9-tailed beasts and resurrect the 10 tails? That is the sacred tree?" "Yes." Hanxing nodded. "Advertisement? Okay. I get it, you go first. I need to digest what you said today, it's really hard for me to accept." Tsunade waved his hand. "Okay." Hanxing said, turning to leave. He knew how amazing he was talking, and if he hadn't known the original, he would have heard it, even worse than Tsunade. After all, these words of Hanxing are not ordinary. Back home, Hanxing is immersed in the gentle village again. Until a week later, Terumi Mei said goodbye to Hanxing. As Mizukage of the Land of Water, it was not easy for her to take such a long time to find Hanxing. If she stayed any longer, the high-level officials of the Land of Water would gossip. Hanxing didn't say anything, just drove her hard all night alone at night. The sun was hanging high. Hanxing and the others stood outside the Konoha gate, looked at Terumi Mei and others who had left, talked to Hinata and others, and came to the Hokage office again. In the office, Tsunade was lying on the chair with a languid face, as if he had a premonition that Hanxing was coming. "The babysitter is gone." "Yeah, it's already out of the village?" Hanxing nodded. Then, he took out a scroll from his pocket, handed it to Tsunade, and said, "This is the information about Rinnegan. It's very detailed. I'm worried that he will attack Konoha after I leave." "Go. Where are you going?" Tsunade asked with a frown, putting the scroll aside. "It's only been a few days since I came back and I have to leave again, and it's so worry-free." Don't worry, I'll be back soon. If this time goes well, I'll be able to break through." Hanxing smiled lightly. "Break through? At your level? Can you still break through? What level did you reach when you broke through? Sage of 6 Paths?" Tsunade smiled. "Advertisement almost. Don't talk about it anymore. I have already greeted them at Hinata. Let's go first." Hanxing waved at Tsunade, and the whole person suddenly disappeared in place. Whoosh! In a forest in the Land of Fire, Hanxing's figure was as fast as lightning. With every step he took, the whole person seemed to be flashing from space, appearing 100 meters away, and the speed was so fast that it left a burst of afterimages in the sunlight. Hanxing's electromagnetic induction is sent out with full force, and the searcher is about the passage to the moon. Now that he wants his spiritual energy to be improved again, or to break through, the only thing Hanxing can think of is the huge Tensigen on the moon. Originally, this Tensigen was prepared by Hanxing for Hinata, but now, it seems that I can only use it myself. As Hanxing sensed, he was on his way, looking for the cave in his memory. It didn't take long for the whole person to stay away from Konoha. Half a day later, the cave in memory appeared within Hanxing's perception range. Hanxing's figure flickered quickly and appeared in front of the cave. He slowed down and walked towards it without any hesitation. Soon, Hanxing came to the depths of the cave, which was a huge stalactite cave. On the rock wall above, strange symbols were carved. These symbols, Hanxing doesn't know, seem to be written in ancient times. He didn't think much about it, anyway. He didn't come here to see the symbols and enjoy the scenery. With a twinkle in his eyes, Hanxing walked towards a pool not far away. The spring water in the beach was extremely clear, but the depth was bottomless. Hanxing sent out electromagnetic induction and probed into the water pool, and found that the bottom of the water beach was like a black hole, swallowing his perception, and he could only barely sense around the water beach, and it was pitch black further down. Seeing this, Hanxing was not surprised but delighted, because this pool is not a pool at all, and the water in it is not water. Chapter 248 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. It is the passage to the moon in the ninja world. This pool and water are all constructed by the power of Tensigen. Hanxing's electromagnetic induction has a range of about 1,000 miles, but in this space channel, when comparing the distance to the moon, it is nothing at all. On the barren gray-brown land, bones scattered everywhere. The black lines, like small streams, dye the surrounding black-brown soil with a layer of black out of thin air. These black lines are the blood that was dried in the past. Being here makes people feel like they have come to hell. The scalp is numb, and the pores are horrified. At the very center of the battlefield, a huge golden sphere was suspended in midair. Although there were pillars below, the pillars had long since been broken, and there was no support at all. In the huge golden sphere, there is a pattern like a hexagram on it. Hanxing can feel the terrifying pupil power from it. This power is enough to destroy the world. These giant golden eyeballs are the evolution of White Eye's ultimate, Tensigen. Tensigen is divided into two types. One is that the eyes of all the members of the Otsutsuki family gather together to form a huge Tensigen. One is the Tensigen from the original Otsutsuki clan who belonged to the moon lineage, transplanted to the last self-proclaimed Hyuga clan in the ninja world. Today, the Hyuga clan is still there, and this huge Tensigen is naturally formed by the eyes of all the Otsutsuki clan members from the moon. Whether it is the huge Tensigen formed by countless white eyes, or the white eyes of the Hyuga clan in the ninja world transplanted from the moon vein in the original book, they are all highly condensed blood of Otsutsuki Hamura, so they can lead to the chakra of Otsutsuki Hamura, which is also the origin of Tensigen. Advertisement Hanxing stepped out and appeared on the Tensigen's pillar with a hint of excitement on his face. He came here for this Tensigen. Feeling the strong pupil power inside, Hanxing can be sure that as long as he absorbs it, the spiritual body in his mind will break through. Swallow it. Swallow it. An impatient thought resounded in his mind. Click. Hanxing moved his fingers and removed all the surrounding pillars, staring at the Tensigen in front of him with burning eyes. The electromagnetic induction came out in an instant. If he guessed correctly, there should be a Otsutsuki clan moon clan left here. Otsutsuki lover. Invisible fluctuations instantly enveloped the entire moon. In the deepest part of the moon, a human body wave appeared in his perception. Sure enough, Hanxing retracted his perception. If he guessed correctly, at this time Otsutsuki Shuren was merging with Tensigen and entering the fetal movement period, which is necessary for Tensigen. Most of the time is very long. In the original book, he remembered that Otsutsuki Shuren was successfully integrated only after 4 years of the Great Ninja War. In other words, today's Otsutsuki Shuren is nothing to be afraid of. Hanxing closed his eyes, and the spiritual body in his mind suddenly opened his eyes. Feeling the rich and dazzling spiritual energy in front of him, like a big sun, his expression was extremely excited. A suction force quietly emanates from it. Ahead, the rich spiritual energy instantly turned into black stars, and after being tempered by the black lightning in the mind, it was absorbed by it. Advertisement 1 minute. 2 minutes. The spiritual body in Hanxing's mind absorbs faster and faster, and behind him, a small black vortex emerges unknowingly. Like a whale swallowing the world, come without fear. Crackle. Crackle. The originally rich black star points. With the appearance of the black vortex behind the spiritual body, the speed of the rushing doubled. Like a torrent composed of black starlight, after being tempered by thunder, it is inhaled into the spiritual body. In his mind, as Hanxing's spiritual body inhaled more and more star points, Hanxing felt that he had entered an inexplicable state, and the whole person was extremely relaxed, as if bathing in the current embrace. He seems to have returned to his original world, saw his original friends, did things he didn't dare to do before, smashed glass, fought, and confessed to the schoolgirl. Quietly, Hanxing fell asleep unexpectedly. This is the deepest sleep from the mind. I can't wake up even if I scream. I can only wait for Hanxing to wake up. Hanxing himself fell asleep, but the spiritual body in his mind was still absorbing the dazzling spiritual energy in front of him, like Madara. Its suction, in front of this energy, is like an elephant and an ant, weak and inaudible. 1 hour, 2 hours. After an unknown amount of time, Hanxing opened his sleepy eyes from his deep sleep, looked at Tensigen who had disappeared in front of him, and hurriedly looked at the spiritual body in his mind. This look made him dumbfounded. In the dark and boundless world, a giant who was at least incomparably bigger than before appeared here. If Hanxing hadn't seen that the body was his own, he would have thought he was blind. Hanxing formed a seal with both hands, and his consciousness instantly appeared on the spirit body. After moving a few times, he found that it was no different from before except that it was bigger. Just then, a memory suddenly appeared in Hanxing's mind. Advertisement. This above is about the development method of Yinden, and how to use it with multiple functions. Hanxing's eyes lit up. According to the method in your mind, inject spiritual energy into your eyes. That's right, the easiest way to use Yin escape in my mind is to inject mental energy into the eyes. As Hanxing poured the energy from his mind into his eyes, he felt his eyes became extremely cool, and his whole body was refreshed. Then Hanxing's eyes became a little different. It is extremely deep, like a black hole, and if you look at it for a long time, you will fall into it and you will not be able to extricate yourself. This is not a pupil technique, but it uses the eyes as a medium and uses his own tyrannical mental power to make people fall into an illusion. The strength of the illusion ability is determined by one's own spirit. The principle is nothing but the introduction of mental energy into the body to disrupt the use of chakra. The only difference from illusion is that this technique relies on both eyes and does not require a seal. While illusion requires a seal, there is little difference between the two. Both are the use of illusion, but the medium is different. After learning the principle of this technique, Hanxing's excitement became a little lost. He thought that he had awakened to the bloodline limit that only exists in the Uchiha clan and the Hyuga clan. In the end, it's just the use of mental energy. This gap makes him a little uncomfortable, but it's only a little. After all, he's used to his current fighting habits, and if he really wakes up in his eyes with either the Uchiha or the Hyuga clan, then it's really a bit difficult to do. Chapter 249 Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What really surprised him was that he finally knew how to open the 8th gate. This method is that after he wakes up, a voice in the back of his mind tells him. Hanxing didn't know whether this method was true or not. According to the method and principle in his mind, he felt that this method could definitely open the 8th gate. Now Otsutsuki Shuren is integrating Tensigen and entering a long period of fetal movement, where you can break through with peace of mind. He didn't go anywhere, just sat cross-legged, and his consciousness entered the cultivation space. The location was still the Shibone Forest. Hanxing sat in an open space in the Shibone Forest and tried to open the 8th gate according to the method in his mind. White clouds are shrouded in mist, misty mist, and 2 Optimus jade pillars stand in the clouds, like 2 pillars supporting the sky. In the middle, a huge immortal gate emitting a dazzling light. The whole body is made of immortal gold, purple jade, and various rare materials is tightly closed. 2 lifelike golden dragons on Xianmen Gate are opposite to each other. They step on the auspicious clouds, and there is a bright golden pearl in the sky. The picture of 2 dragons playing with pearls. Hanxing swept the gate of ascension in front of him, and with a thought, a black energy and green energy appeared in front of Hanxing. These 2 are the yin and yang of Hanxing's current master. Then, according to the memory in your mind, find the balance between the 2 and blend them together. That's right. The memory in my mind is to use the yin-yang escape technique to open the 8th gate of Hanxing's bustling area. An hour, 2 hours. Hanxing was immersed in the feeling of fusion of yin and yang. 7 days later, in his mind, a black and green yin and yang escaping, like thin needles, appeared in front of Hanxing's eyes. Finally done. Hanxing murmured. Advertisement. Looking at the embroidery needle in front of him, not sure if it would work, he whispered, "Go." The black and green embroidery needles instantly turned into 2 alternating colors, dragging a long tail flame and rushing towards the immortal gate ahead. There was a piercing pain in Hanxing's mind, but he ignored it and looked at the distant fairy gate with a grim expression. Seeing this, Hanxing's face instantly turned from pain to joy, and he laughed excitedly, finally successful. On the dazzling fairy gate, a pin-like hole appeared in Hanxing's sight. The rich chakra inside is gushing out from it, like a fountain. After rejoicing, Hanxing then used the combination of yin and yang to attack the 8th gate of 8 inner gates. With the first experience, Hanxing is speeding up again. An hour later, Hanxing looked at the black and green thin needle in front of him, without any hesitation, let it hit the 8th gate. Once, twice. Before you know it, Hanxing has been on the moon for 3 days. It took a month in the cultivation space. In 1 month, Han Xin has made great progress. In addition to using yin and yang to attack the immortal gate, it is to rest and recover the pain in his mind. Then he continued, and the cycle was repeated, and the golden immortal gate in front of him had become insane and full of cracks due to his efforts. Hanxing believes that it won't take long to successfully open the 8th gate. Withdrew from the training space in his mind, Hanxing closed his eyes and rested, recovering the pain in his mind. A day later, Hanxing opened his eyes and felt that most of his mind had recovered, and with a single thought he entered the cultivation space again. Advertisement: the 8th gate. Hanxing's consciousness reappeared here, looking at the golden gate with holes everywhere like a hive. Hanxing's expression did not change. In the blink of an eye, an arm-thick drill appeared in Hanxing's eyes. Click. Click. Feeling the explosive power coming from his body, Hanxing grinned. This physique is at least 10 times or even more than 20 times stronger than before. Not bad, not bad. Hanxing nodded in satisfaction. Using the yin-yang escape technique carefully and skillfully, this time his movements were very slow and light. In the blink of an eye, a thin needle with 2 colors of black and green appeared in front of Hanxing. Wherever the golden waves passed, Hanxing could clearly feel that his body was getting stronger, or in other words qualitatively changing. Now, the 8th gate has been riddled with holes by Hanxing, but at this time, the less anxious it is, the rice has already been put in the bowl, and when to eat it is not a matter of time. The steady stream of mental energy in his mind made Hanxing feel refreshed. Hanxing did not stop, but increased the output of spiritual energy and Yangdan. After successfully drilling a hole in the golden gate again, a glass-like crack suddenly sounded on the golden gate in front of you. After 1 day, 10 days of cultivation space, he has a hunch that he will be able to fully open the 8th gate today. Like Pengu opening the world, behind the gate, a huge golden wave directly smashed the gate in front of him. He wrapped Hanxing in an instant, and then rushed towards Hanxing's limbs. It's completely within his tolerance. In this case, Hanxing feels that he doesn't need to rest and can keep these drills working until all the golden doors in front of him are blown open. Directly separate 1,000 clones and control your own momentum. Hanxing looked at the golden fairy gate with more and more cracks in his mind, with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Advertisement: whoa. Whoa. 2 hours later, the golden waves on Hanxing's body disappeared, and Hanxing's body was also remodeled. Boom. 1,000 shadow clone, 1,000 times of practice, plus Hanxing has polished all aspects of his body to the ultimate. The 8th gate can be said to have made Hanxing take a qualitative leap inside and out. Hanxing doesn't care, now his body is still undergoing transformation, and he is still in the cultivation space, so don't worry. Making a drill to drill the door, Hanxing felt that this matter was very right. The pain in his mind was greatly reduced, and it was much better than hitting the fairy door directly with a fine needle. After this month's fusion of yin-yang escape, he already had the first experience, and he could create a larger yin-yang escape weapon to attack the immortal sect. Only the thin needles in front of the eyes began to change with the naked eye, getting bigger and longer. The dantian in the body is more powerful, and the dantian directly expands by 5 times and fills up quickly. Next, control your aura first. Then practice all the secret techniques of yin and yang in your mind, Hanxing pondered to himself. And time, he never lacked. The 8th gate is located in the mind, and the downtown area has always been the most mysterious area of human beings. A powerful momentum burst out from Hanxing's body, like destroying the sky and destroying the earth. It is simply irresistible. His current yin and yang escape can only produce so much at most. With a wave of his hand, the drill in front of him turned into a stream of light, rushing towards Xianmen. Wet bone forest Hanxing's ground, with a radius of hundreds of miles, began to collapse at a speed visible to the naked eye. While thinking about it, 20 yin and yang escaped drills appeared next to Hanxing again, rushing towards it. Chapter 250 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. It only took 3 days to initially control his sudden surge in momentum, and after another 3 days, Hanxing was completely in control and restrained himself, just like an ordinary person. Suddenly, Hanxing was dazzled, and the barren land appeared like a teleportation. "Did you come out? It's a bit fast," Hanxing murmured. "Separate 1,000 shadow clones and let them get acquainted with the body that he has just raised," and he is comprehending the huge memory that suddenly appeared in his mind after opening the 8th gate. This memory is nothing else, it is the cultivation and use of yin and yang, and how to condense the truth-seeking ball and so on. Hanxing is not in a hurry. First he feels the chakra attributes in his body: wind, thunder, water, fire, earth, yin and yang, and white. The 5 elements chakra Hanxing is clear. The yin attribute chakra is also clear, but the yang attribute chakra is no longer green, but has become yellow. These were all in Hanxing's expectations, but the silver-white chakra made Hanxing frown. He remembered that there is no such attribute in the 5 attributes of the ninja world. Could it be? Is this a spatial attribute? Hanxing whispered. Forget it. Why do you think so much? Just call it out and try it. With a murmur, Hanxing's thoughts moved, and he applied the white attribute chakra in his dantian to his hands. Swipe forward. Tear. It sounded like the fabric was being torn. 5 claw marks suddenly appeared in the space in front of Hanxing, revealing the black space inside that made him feel a little throbbing. Inside, Hanxing could clearly feel the violent space energy inside. Sure enough, it's a space attribute. If so, Hanxing murmured.
Advertisement. With a hint of white in his bright eyes, Hanxing's eyes instantly transformed into a black and white 3-dimensional world, with gray nodes appearing in his eyes.
Hanxing stretched his finger to the gray node in front of him, and in the next instant, the space around him rippled like seawater, and then the whole person entered it and disappeared. When it reappears, people are already thousands of meters away. Space teleport. Hanxing's pupils shrank for a while. I felt that there was almost no chakra consumed, not as much as Hanxing's passive recovery of his own body. Can I use it all the time? He murmured. Using the original method again to appear in the same place, I can't calm down in my heart. He didn't expect that after opening the 8th gate, he even had the rarest space attribute. It seems that the improved 8 inner gates is not an ordinary pervert. You must know that the original Guy Emperor opened the 8 gates only for physical skills, and did not show anything else. Am I the son of destiny? Rarer than Naruto and Urzuzi, Hanxing murmured. In fact, I still don't know clearly. After breaking through the 6 paths level, all the chakra attributes in the ninja world will be automatically mastered. As for the use or development, it is up to you. Forget it. Try something else. Hanxing didn't think too much about it, and attributed it all to the improved 8 inner gates. There are still many ideas in his mind to try, and he can't delay here. With a thought, Hanxing suddenly left the place and started to float upwards like a white cloud, flying freely. After getting used to it, Hanxing fell to the ground. After the breakthrough, Hanxing felt that his body was as light as a feather, and he could fly into the air with just a thought, but he did not expect it to be true after just trying. Breaking through the 6 paths, the changes brought to Hanxing are really too great. These, even for him who has gone through the storm, he must find a time to absorb it well. Advertisement. The next day, Hanxing closed his eyes and entered the cultivation space. Just tried some basics yesterday, such as space teleportation, space blade, and space for storing things. Basically, they are developing space ninjutsu. Today, Hanxing has 2 things to do. One is to try Tailed Beast Bomb. One is to try the Fusion Truth-Seeking Ball. Hanxing follows the method of Tailed Beast Bomb, using yin and yang escape, and the 2:8 ratio begins to merge. Hanxing already has some experience with the fusion of yin and yang. With the express delivery visible to the naked eye, as Hanxing injected into the yin-yang chakra, black and yellow particles began to gradually emerge in Hanxing's hands. A moment later, a dark black-tailed beast bomb appeared in Hanxing's eyes. It really is Tailed Beast Bomb. I just don't know how powerful it is. If so, can I replace Tailed Beast Bomb with Rasengan? Looking at Hanxing, who had some meaning and successfully condensed into Tailed Beast Bomb at one time, he murmured. He felt he could make the Tailed Beast Bomb bigger, but it wasn't necessary. He just wanted to try to condense the tailed beast bomb himself to see if the tailed beast bomb was the same as the tailed beast. Just throw it away. Boom. A huge roar, accompanied by a burst of fire, rose into the sky. The violent energy instantly enveloped the radius of a kilometer, and the earth began to crack and collapse at the speed of the naked eye, and the cobweb-like cracks spread wildly around. The strong aftermath swept away in all directions like a hurricane. The dust was flying, and the gravel filled the air, blocking the sky and making it impossible to see anything inside. Advertisement. I don't know. When Hanxing floated in the sky, his expression remained unchanged, and quietly, he waved his palm against the dust in the sky below. A huge gust of wind turned into a wave, directly blowing the dust in front of him into the distance. Below, a deep pit with a radius of 100 meters and a diameter of about 200 meters appeared in Hanxing's line of sight. The power is good. It is equivalent to several big ball Rasengan shuriken. The consumption can be ignored initially, similar to the space teleportation. Once it is consumed, the body can be replenished instantly. In other words, it can be used all the time. Hanxing's eyes flickered, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. If other attributes of chakra are added to tailed beast bomb, you can try it. With that, Hanxing divided 100 shadow clones to practice the idea just now. Next is the truth-seeking ball. Truth-seeking ball is based on yin and yang, to create a body, and then add 7 high-density chakras of yin and yang, 5 elements to it. Of course, this is only the principle of truth-seeking ball manufacturing, and another is that after learning 6 paths, the process is automatic. Even if there are no ninjas who do not have all the attributes, they can be created. Just like Naruto, Sasuke in the original book. What Hanxing wants to do now is the first one, who makes him not the son of Sage of 6 paths. Separate 500 shadow clones again and let them try to gather the truth-seeking ball. Of course, Hanxing asked these shadow clones to try, because they wanted to gather the experience of truth-seeking ball, not really let them gather. After doing this, Hanxing's mind moved. Crackle. Crackle. A streak of gray lightning appeared in the palm of Hanxing's palm, like a god of annihilation that destroyed the world.